We've got a great weekend of hockey ahead here at Invisalign Arena. Chris Lehman and Nick Perazzi with you on ESPN+. This is the first of two games between NC State and Kentucky. And Nick, it should be a good one. But before we get into this matchup, take a look back at what was a pretty impressive weekend for the Ice Pack last weekend as they took on a highly ranked Liberty squad.
Yeah, I believe number 4 in the country. They came in the preseason rankings. Liberty did. Came here to Invisalign Arena first. Took a 4-2 win over the Ice Pack here. Thought the Ice Pack at first, had a lot of things that were not going against them. They did strike first with that first goal, but 2 quick ones for the Flames afterwards. Quickly opened the second period with the goal. But then after that, NC State turned the tide a little bit. They were able to play their brand of hockey a little bit, kind of get Liberty on their heels. Cut it down to a 2-goal game, but ultimately just not enough time, and Liberty outplayed them in general. Then they go up to Lehigh Ice Center in Lynchburg, Virginia, the very next day. They go to overtime, where Liberty wins it 1-0, but the story really of last week, Chris, Ethan Roberts in net is just phenomenal for the Ice Pack.
Absolutely. It was 4 goals allowed, or rather 5 goals allowed on 80-plus shots over the weekend. He'll be in net tonight, so he's going to be a calming presence, I would imagine, for this team back behind.
Yeah, definitely, but if you're NC State, you can't rely on them too much, of course. You can't let them get tired out. It's still very early in the season. They also have Peter Bartels as a second goalie for them. So you want Roberts out there as well. You got a good goalie behind them too, but NC State's got to help them out. They've got to play a little bit better defensively, Chris, I think. And it all starts with moving the puck out of their own zone.
Well, I do think it was a bit of a statement for NC State last weekend. Didn't win either of the games. You look at it, they did get outshot pretty handily, but when you're able to stay competitive against the top 5 team in the preseason rankings in your first year at the Division I level, I do think that says something.
Yeah, and we talked to Coach Tim Healy of the Ice Pack after the game last Friday, and he said he believes this team can make it to St. Louis for Nationals. He's that confident with how they played against Liberty. It's still early in the season. First couple games at the D1 level against D1 opponents, and so far, Chris, NC State's looked pretty well. There is some things they can improve upon, but I think they're going to have a strong contention here at the top of the ACHA Division I, where Kentucky currently sits number 1 in the division.
And Kentucky also in their first year of Division I hockey at the ACHA level. We're going to step aside here and take a break. We'll take a little bit of a closer look at the Wildcats, and we'll introduce you to a new member of our on-air team when we return.
Clear.
Welcome back to Invisalign Arena as we get set for NC State and Kentucky. Chris Lehman joined by the newest member of our team, Grace Motto. She'll be joining us right now in a reporter role. She'll join us in the booth as the season moves along as well. So we want to, of course, welcome you, Grace. You're a member of the Wolfpack now and, of course, played with the women's team here at NC State. Where did your interest in hockey come from?
So I have to say, my father, as soon as I could walk, he put me in skates, and I'm forever grateful for that. You know, I'm excited to be part of the team, excited to talk hockey, and we have a great team this season, so I'm excited to report on that.
Well, and how did you end up here at NC State?
I went to High Point University my freshman year, and we won the ACC on the women's team, and I'm excited to now enter my transfer year, where I had this opportunity, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you, excited to have you in the booth with us later in the season as well. We're going to turn attention here now to this Kentucky Wildcats team. And you know, NC State did not play them last year, but they had some tight matchups against this team in the past, so they are not unfamiliar with each other. But the big thing, I think, for this Kentucky team, we've talked about NC State making some changes, particularly lower in their lineup. There aren't as many changes in that lineup for Kentucky coming into this season.
Yeah, no, and we talked about the continuity of Kentucky's team, and there's no turnover, which is great for their coaching, which you don't really have to introduce new players to their new culture, and their coach really praised that, and he's excited to see NC State as an opponent tomorrow and tonight.
Oh, and amongst the leaders on the team with these returners, and a big number of returners on the front end, Mark LaRue really going to be the guy to keep an eye on. No surprise, he's got the C on his shoulder, so we'll be keeping an eye on him up front. Nick Hahn is the guy that they talk about the most on the back end, who they need to be a leader for this Wildcat team. But perhaps the most influential position on the ice is between the pipes, and Riley Allen is who they have in net for Kentucky.
Well, they always say great offense starts with great defense, and you definitely see a goaltender role is of utmost importance. And even with NC State's goalie, we have seen Roberts in such a crucial role, and I'm excited to see, I feel like it's going to be a battle of goaltending tonight.
Yeah, it will be a really interesting matchup. Should be an exciting one as well. We're going to take another break. When we come back, Nick will rejoin me, and we'll take a closer look at the matchup between the Ice Pack and the Wildcats next.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
We talk forever about the future. Worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go. From ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make. With bright ideas, new tools, and a wolf pack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
When you look at me, you might see
a person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
you'll see
a warrior mom,
an endurance athlete,
someone with a lot of fight.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
is unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at CISA.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
Well, I'm looking good. Thank you. Just became a real ID. What's the plan? Impromptu road trip? Actually, the plan is to fly to New York for today's product launch, and then visit the family in California, and cap it off with a girls' weekend in New Orleans. You really can just do all that. Sure, I'm a real ID, so I'm good to board any domestic flight. Speaking of which, gotta fly. Nice, enjoy. I'll be here.
Be your Real ID self today. To learn how, visit tsa.gov/realid or your local DMV.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's going to take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Welcome back. Chris Lehman joined now by Nick Perazzi as we continue to get ready for NC State and Kentucky here in Morrisville, North Carolina. And Nick, we've taken kind of, a atmospheric look at these teams from a long way out. We're going to kind of narrow in now on these matchups. And one thing that Grace highlighted for us in the last segment is the goaltending battle. I think that is going to be key.
Yeah, Jake Allen in net for Kentucky. So far this season, Kentucky hasn't allowed more than 2 goals in the 3 games that they've played. They've scored at least 4 or 5 of them. So not only do they help out their goaltender, they can lean on Jake Allen a little bit as well. But Chris, one guy you were talking to me about, we were on break there, Nick Delaney. He's got 4 points in 3 games so far, Chris, but that's a slow start from what I'm hearing.
Absolutely. His one goal is an empty netter, but he had a big season offensively for the Cats last year, and they expect that again. So even though the production from a goal standpoint is not exactly where they would have expected it early on in the season, he is a guy to keep an eye on the offensive side.
Yeah, and just 3 games in for the junior from Illinois, but man, when he gets going, though, he's going to be on, I believe, that 3rd line tonight for Kentucky at the right wing. When he gets going, though, he's a treat to watch, Chris. That's what I've heard from many of the coaches from Kentucky as well. And I think overall, though, Chris, this game's going to be won in terms of mentality, though. We saw these 2 teams 2 years ago here, and then they played again up in Lexington. A lot of penalties being taken, especially on NC State's side. I think today it's going to be who can keep their cool, who can show them that they have that D1 mindset.
And you bring that up. I think that is a very important thing to keep an eye on tonight. We talked about it a lot last year. It was a running theme. The discipline of this team was not where the coaching staff and really the leadership in the locker room in terms of players was not the level that they wanted. It's been different this year. Yeah. They haven't gotten into it. They've gotten into it a little bit, as you always do, but they've never crossed that line and put themselves in a bad position late in a game. Of course, you look at Georgia, the late penalty, but it was not the same kind of undisciplined penalty.
No.
This is a team that might test that discipline a little more.
They know as the lights go out here in Invisalign Arena as the ice pack set to take the ice, but I interviewed Zach Herman. I interviewed Joey Govea about it. They said, Joey Govea and Nick Labrizzi about it, and they said, the culture here is different compared to last year. Guys are buying fully in now. They know this is D1, they're going to play up to it, and they've got stuff to improve on. So far, Chris, 10 times better for the Ice Pack this year in terms of their mentality and bad penalties.
And I think on the offensive side of your NC State, you want to get your offense rolling early as well. Look at the results the last couple weeks. This team hasn't scored more than 2 goals in their first 3 games. That's not totally characteristic of this team.
No, but you're at that D1 level. Goaltending gets a lot better, and Riley Allen in net. It's going to be a big test for the Ice Packs. Already had a great start to the year. This is a make-or-break game for NC State offensively before you start potentially having conversations about the offense.
Well, it's starting to get louder here at Invisalign Arena. Minutes away from puck drop. We're going to take one more break. When we come back, we got starting lineups, our Perazzi points, and we'll be ready to get things rolling here in Morrisville.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
I would never show my teeth. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's gonna take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Welcome back to Invisalign Arena. We're about set to get things going. Before we do, I'm going to turn it over to my partner, Nick Perazzi, for our Perazzi points.
Well, Chris, I don't know if you know what's special about today here in the Triangle, but
it's 919 Day.
919 Day, the area code here in Raleigh. That's why NC State wearing those sick Raleigh jerseys they wore at the Carolina Classic. But Perazzi points today, stuck on Wade Avenue, stuck in traffic. Get traffic in front of the net. Two great goaltenders tonight. Both teams get traffic in front and try to get a lot of deflection. Second, following Acorns. City of Oaks, Acorns as well. Protect the puck. That's going to be there. Don't drop your Acorns. Make sure you keep them at all times like a squirrel. And finally, transplants. I'm one of them, Chris, technically speaking, in terms of Charlotte, but keep the puck moving. Keep moving around on offense and defense.
We're just about set to rock and roll. NC State in the red, Kentucky in the white, and NC State will kick it forward. Daniel Prasma and Jake Gifford, the wingers for Zach Herman. Gifford fans on a one-timer. Up top, Kyler Sun out there with Labrizzi, who takes the shot that's blocked. And now the zone cleared by Kentucky. Good start for NC State, entering the zone early. On the front end for Kentucky, starting line is Ty Patefield, centering Gabriel Rodriguez and Jack Noel, Nick Hahn, and Ethan Boyajian on the back end in defense. And of course, we mentioned Riley Allen between the pipes for the Cats in this one. NC State again controlling in the zone. Out of the corner, swept in front, nobody there in a red jersey. Kentucky will break it out as Rodriguez lugs it through the neutral zone. He'll be stopped up by a few red jerseys, and NC State takes back over. Kentucky unbeaten so far this season. Season opening win against Tennessee, won a pair against North Carolina last weekend out in Kentucky. Puck bounces in on Roberts. He'll melt it down for the first face-off with 18:56 left in the first.
And if you're NC State right now, the last game, we're about 13 shots on goal on that Lehigh Ice Center in Lynchburg. Previous game, we were 24 shots on goal. So already having, well, they don't have one on the board yet, but having a lot of sustained offensive pressure early on is a good sign for the Ice Pack offense.
Well, NC State had some trouble against Liberty in the face-off circle last week. Win the first two face-offs here in this one early on. Kentucky, though, still with the pressure. Shot swallowed up by Roberts, and another face-off in front of the NC State net upcoming.
And this is going to be the other test for NC State today, because you already mentioned the face-off, but when you win the face-off, breaking out of your own D-zone, the first two home games here in Invisalign, you can even go into Liberty as well. They have had a lot of trouble getting the puck out of their own defensive zone and into the drive.
Again, NC State controls off the draw. Here's Darlene. Up the wall has Finch. Finch threads it through, trying to connect there with Johnson. They'll chase it down behind the goal. Stuck up along the wall. That's Darlene. They'll force it back around. Govea first there. Has some help from Mason Payne as it's pinned to the boards again. Kentucky gets control, and it'll be flipped out of the zone. Wildcats looking to change. Puck didn't go very far, though, as Darlene swats it across the ice through the legs of Payne. Back the other way come the Wildcats. In the middle, it's poked off the stick of Alex Klingerman, and NC State back out with it. Payne trying to push it deep. That's stopped up, and again taken over by Kentucky. LaRue plays it across for Verchetto, who sends it deep. Roberts will sweep it along. Kentucky holds the zone.
Far corner, LaRue trying to float it out in front. That's stolen away. NC State will look to break out. Carrying it out there, Darlene. He gets stopped up at the blue line. Pardon me, that's Kaufman. Kentucky turns it back into the NC State end. Whipped across for Talon Langston. Tried to play it off the glass. LaRue knocks it down. Sends it in deep once more. Kentucky with a good forecheck here. They've got control in the O-zone. Rink wide, taken by Clearman off the wall, or Vercetto, pardon me. Thrown back behind. And it looks like Roberts has lost his stick. Goaltender, no way to protect the 5-hole. We'll see if Kentucky can take advantage. They'll keep it in deep. Lapani back behind the goal. And he'll give his stick over to Roberts. So Roberts with a defenseman's stick right now. NC State looking like they're going to get out, and they've got a chance at an odd man rush. Played through for Gilmore. He's got to stretch out for it, and he lifts it over the top and then takes a heavy hit, and he's not going to get up. Whistle blown, a hard hit after the shot from Angelo Vercetto, and that one really hurt.
Yeah, the pass was just a little too far for Gilmore. Still was able to win that puck. And then after he took the shot, got absolutely leveled into the boards. He's able to get back to his skates, though, and able to skate it off. But, Chris, that was a scary collision with the boards that he had there.
Well, we'll see. Starting to shake off that left arm. We'll keep an eye on it. Not sure if we have an angle of that collision with the boards there. He was coming in hot and a little bit off balance when he made contact there. And NC State's got Giancani over there talking with one of the officials. I don't know if that was about the nature of the hit after the shot, or we'll get another look at it.
I think he was talking about that, Chris. Maybe potential boarding penalty as well, since he came from behind, but no penalty, still 5-on-5, and hopefully Gilmore's all right.
Off the draw, NC State able to clear the zone, but it'll be Kentucky in control. Boyajin goes D to D with Hahn. His pass through the neutral zone disrupted. NC State trying to settle it down as it's caught up in skates. It'll squirt loose into the corner. NC State can't clear, held in by Hahn. Second attempt though, they'll skate it out. Rinaldi slips it through the middle for Patterson, or for Connie, pardon me. NC State will get back to it. Centering pass, intercepted. Worked around the wall to the near side. Settled by Karinsky. NC State keeps it in the zone though. Rinaldi shoots it cross ice. First one there is Eli Bailey of Kentucky. He'll clear the zone.
That's really NC State's first good opportunity with sustained Ozo time since really the first 15 seconds of the game, Chris. And then this is where problems arise for NC State, trying to keep possession, working it into neutral zone. They lost it in neutral zone. They get it back in the D zone, but they're having a hard time behind the net, just keeping possession again.
And Patterson there to help out Labrizzi. NC State able to clear the zone. This likely to be icing. We'll get the whistle as Michael Supan wins the race. And the face-off comes back to the NC State end again.
Chris, I wonder if the reason why NC State's struggling getting the pucks in their own zone is because last year and really the season before, they loved the stretch pass. They really love to go from blue line to blue line, even further than that, to break out of their own zone. We haven't really seen that at the D1 level. Players are a lot faster, and I think NC State doesn't have the opportunity to do that.
Well, they'll win another face-off here. Can't clear on the first attempt. Labrizzi trying to skate it out of pressure. He'll shovel it off the glass and out. Supan sends it right back up that far wall. Labrizzi responds again. Supan, deflection. Will negate icing as the puck trickles down behind the NC State net. Sun playing catch with Labrizzi behind the net. Lost his edge, able to play it along for Herman. Nice little kick play for Prasma. He'll pick up speed down that right wing. Knocked off the puck, but he relocates. Finds Gifford in the corner, who swats it back around. Prasma upended, play continues as it's lugged out now by Anthony Santangelo. He'll play it deep. NC State after it, that's Darlene to the puck first. 5 minutes gone here in this first period. Pass forward intended for Prasma, missed its target, that's icing. NC State retreats to their own end again. This is, I believe, the 5th face-off of the period, and I think the 4th one in the NC State zone.
Yeah, Kentucky's getting a really good forecheck right now. But how about that shift, Chris, from Anthony Santangelo? The junior from Illinois, the D-man, made a great play on Prasma, didn't allow him to step around him, and then he threw the body around a good bit as he led the way down the ice for Kentucky. Gave one more hit right in front of the PA box as well before he checked out for his shift.
Herman on the face-off, up against Preston Hazelton of Kentucky. Prasma plays it off the wall and out. Darlene gets a skate to the dump-in, trying to get control. They'll tap it forward. Prasma chasing it down in a foot race there with Farchetto. Kentucky clears again. NC State chasing after this one, and now they're going to get the offensive zone draw as the Cats ice the puck.
And right before that icing, Chris, Joey Govea throwing the body around. You don't really see that from Govea, the alternate captain, but he's going to get this face-off as well. And I think for NC State right now, they're trying to match that physicality a bit for Kentucky. We've seen Kentucky throw the body around. NC State trying to match it a little bit, but we mentioned in the pregame, Chris, you got to keep your head on a swivel, and you got to stay mentally sharp about it.
Another icing from Kentucky, and another face-off in the NC State zone coming up. Or in the Kentucky zone, I should say. 14-16 left in the first period. Right now, shots favoring the Cats 3-0. NC State, though, starting to get a little bit more zone time here. Govea on the draw, wins it backwards for Darlene, but it hops his stick and escapes the zone. Back up the near side for Reese Johnson. He's got space into the offensive end. Knocked into the wall and off the puck. NC State still maintaining pressure. Mason Payne backhands it back deep. Collected in the corner by Ulan, and he'll throw it off the near wall and deep. NC State looking to regroup, trying to take advantage of a change. Payne into the offensive end. He gets hit up high. Play continues as Govea goes after it in the corner. Now Johnson putting pressure on. Wildcats going to break out as the breakout pass misses its target. And Alex Klingerman, and that's another icing call on Kentucky.
What, about 5, 6 icing calls for
both teams struggling to get out of their own end right now.
Yeah, they are. And, you know, I believe at the beginning of the game, though, Kentucky was doing a good job getting out, getting the neutral ice. But now it's just, I think, just errant passes, you know, getting it too far out in front, and players just not being able to keep up with it so far. But one of these teams has to take advantage of it, because there are plenty of O-zone draws that, you know, with tired legs out there for the defense, both teams just can't take advantage of.
Icing waved off on that one, so play will continue. Kentucky is starting to find some success in the face-off circle. NC State unable to break out successfully again, though. Wildcats back in. Backhand try, hits skates on the way in for Lobby. And now NC State trying to clear. Lobby with the pressure and the shot, easily handled by Roberts. Lapani pins his man to the corner. Cats still in control, though. Shot coming in, deflected just wide. Good chance there for Kentucky. Shots now 4-0 in favor of the visitors. Off to a good start.
And Keegan Gilmore out there for NC State. Chris, good to see him back out there. Got to go away with a high stick.
There's a chance in front. They score. Pass slips through into the slot, and it's Eli Bailey, the only freshman in the lineup tonight, who puts it home, and Kentucky has the lead.
Well, when we look on the replay, after that scrum in the corner, it's brought out. Oh, I just hit a skate in front. It got caught up in Gilmore's skate. And then Bailey just found a loose puck, had a wide open net, because Roberts couldn't see it either, Chris. He thought Gilmore had it. And you know, just not being able to get the puck on your stick, puck bouncing a little bit. And Kentucky strikes quickly in first.
NC State going to have to play from behind in this one. Only game that they gave up the first goal in was the game against Liberty last weekend up in Lynchburg, where they gave it up in overtime. So they really have not had a lot of instances where they've given up the early goal and fallen behind. Trying to get it back, though. Swatted to the middle by Connie, and that gets caught up in traffic. Kentucky clears. This one's going to have enough juice for icing, and the Wildcats going to have to keep some tired legs out there.
Well, looking at that last play, Chris, Kyler's son had an opportunity to crash hard on that loose puck. Instead, he stayed back, and I think that was the beneficial move, because one, of course, you can get beat, you know, not being overly aggressive, especially when you're trying to get that goal back when you just give one up. But two, Kentucky iced the puck. You get that fresh face-off in the O-zone once again.
It'll be Patterson on the draw for NC State. up against Preston Hazelton of Kentucky. NC State wins the draw. D-to-D for Labrisi. His shot through traffic rises over the net. Sun knocks down a bouncing puck and gets it back in deep. NC State to it below the goal line. That's Patterson. Back up the wall. Sun will poke it back down low. Flex out in front. Pinballs around, and Connie in control. He'll elevate it down into the corner for an open teammate. NC State trying to create a chance in front. The rebound was there. Unable to get a stick to it, though. As NC State's Rinaldi.
Chris, on the back end of that play, Carter Karinsky just laid the boom on a player in red. Absolute legal and brutal hit that he gave.
Closing in on the halfway point. Here's a chance for Kentucky, but he's offsides. Charlie Chinian knocked down that pass, and it was almost him and Roberts one-on-one.
Oh, that's a missed opportunity for Kentucky right there. We'll get another look at this offsides. The Sun goes in. That puck is loose. And then the other way it comes. And great play there from Charlie Chinian, but just got caught up in the skates a little too long.
Again, NC State struggling after winning the faceoff to get back beyond their own blue line. Kentucky shoots it in again. Behind the goal, set up for Darlene. They'll look up that far side. Has Mason Payne. Some trouble with it. Loose puck. It's up on the stick of Herman. He finds Payne. Chips it forward. NC State going after it. Gifford in on the forecheck. Putting some pressure on Angelo Varchetto. On the wall, Prasma looking things over, decides to shoot. That hits a body. Kentucky to it first. Yell trying to force it up the near side, able to clear the zone, and now Kentucky can get a change as NC State retreats for it.
And NC State gonna get a change. They're gonna bring out the Austin Finch second line. They still got Prasma out there.
Prasma down the right side. Cuts back above the goal line, steps out in front looking for the shot. He was tied up nicely by Ty Patefield. Didn't stop the shot, but avoided it being a strong one. NC State still with pressure though. Finch in the slot, shoots. Save made by Allen. Starting to get tested. Good sequence here for NC State. Lapani at the blue line. His shot deflects up into the glass behind. And now at the blue line, Prasma swats it off a teammate. That'll ricochet across the ice. NC State's going to have to retreat and defend now. But a good sequence there. On miscue now for Kentucky. Govea plays it out for Johnson. His shot is knocked away. And again, Kentucky looking to move it out of the zone. Rodriguez under pressure, dumps it in. Now Lapani backhanded into the corner. A scrum for it. You got to look up close. Into the wall there for the Wildcats was Rodriguez. They come away with it. Cross to Boyashin. He'll play it around the wall. Ooh, big hit. Puck. I'm sure the puck was there, but play will carry on. Govea sweeps it back behind. NC State unable to connect on passes here and break out of the zone. Back in control. Rodriguez played across. That shot through traffic doesn't get to the goal. But Kentucky really stifling NC State right now. Pass through the middle, finds Mark LaRue, the captain down the left wing. He'll take a shot, and it's stopped by Roberts. He wasn't sure where it was for a moment, but it ends up underneath, and we'll get a whistle with 8:47 to go in the first. And NC State gonna have to figure some things out here, Nick. This is not the strong start they were looking for.
No, it's not. One more look at that shot, and it just sat right in front of Roberts. Had to lay down. Didn't know what it is, but that's what you do sometimes. But Chris, I think this Kentucky forecheck is becoming the story of this game right now. Really, both teams forechecking well, but Kentucky is forcing a lot of board battles in the corner. Tim Healy said that's going to be a big key for NC State tonight to win those board battles, and so far, they're not winning that battle.
LaRue's shot blocked in the high slot. Puck is still there, though, as it's tied up in skates. NC State finds it. Kaufman moving forward. It's an odd man rush if they go quickly. Kaufman is separated from the puck, and Kentucky reverses it the other way. And we might have a penalty coming up here on NC State, and we will, as it was Jake Lobby that was taken down on the play. And NC State just a step slow right now.
Yeah, they are. Kentucky's winning, seems like every puck battle. Kyle Sun's going to go to the box 2 minutes for a hooking penalty. But you kind of had to take that penalty there, but you know, that forecheck that Kentucky has. It's going to tire out NC State when they're trying to break out, and then when they do get to the neutral zone, the O zone, and they lose the puck, they can't get an easy line change. They got to skate back, play defense, and that's where Kentucky's taking a lot of their advantage. That's when, you know, the cliche saying, they get the puck in deep, but then they keep it there.
Kentucky wins the faceoff to start the power play. Rink-wide pass slips under the stick of Lobby. NC State trying to pressure and clear, but can't. Wildcats looking to set up the power play now. Delaney. Mentioned him in our pregame. Slightly slow start for him, but had a really good season offensively for the Cats last year. Shot through traffic, misses the far post. Kentucky still in control. Lobby walks to the top of the circle. Cross ice, that pass sticked away by Govea. Diving play, unable to clear the zone, but the second effort from Finch forces it back to the red line. Turned right back in by Nick Delaney. He is separated from the puck, and NC State clears 45 seconds into the man advantage.
How about the two seniors on the penalty kill? Joey Govea, Austin Finch. A lot of grit there at the blue line just to get that puck out. And they did a fantastic job of doing so. Go off for the line change. Then how about the junior holding Kaufman there with a good little forecheck?
NC State trying to stymie things at the blue line. They do so successfully, and a slap shot clears the zone. 50 seconds left. NC State on the kill, and now Johnson trying to bleed more clock as he's first to the puck on the forecheck. It's a 1-on-3 in that corner. Kentucky finally getting away with it. He skated forward by Boyajian. The zone. NC State knocks the man off the puck and takes it back. They'll clear again. Under 30 seconds left on the power play. Big hit there on Noel.
So far this season, Chris, obviously still 20 seconds left on the kill for NC State, but this penalty kill, you know, at times against Liberty, it looked like they just couldn't get the puck out of the zone. Tonight, though, it seems like they're winning those 50-50 battles and have done a good job.
8 seconds left on the penalty to Kyler Sun. State needs one more clear to fully finish it off. Pump fake there from Rodriguez, looking for space, hands it off, and the shot from Lobby, unable to find the net. Lobby back in control, looks across, chance here, loaded up, and Roberts was there. There was plenty of time for Patefield, and if he had gotten the shot off quicker, Nick, I think he might have scored.
Yeah, I was exactly going to say that. If we slow down this replay right here, right when he's going to shoot it, he takes a lot of time to get that shot off. One more look at it. The puck comes in, you know, after great timing, and then he's trying to make a great shot on it, but I think that puck was bouncing a little bit. Patefield one-times that with ease, you know, gets ready for it, shoots it when it's there. More than likely 2-0 Wildcats.
A little over 6 minutes left in the period. NC State trying to chase this down. In on goal, poked onto the goaltender, and Allen makes the save. Great hustle from Gifford. NC State trying to fight back. They're being outshot 8-3 right now. Kentucky breaks into the zone. Payne shuts things down behind the net, leaves it for Darlene. Trying to backhand it up the wall. It's stolen. Chance in the slot. That shot doesn't get to the net. Loose puck there. Herman has it. He goes skate to stick. Takes it up that right wing. Oh, Prasma taken out ahead of the puck. No arm up, so play carries on. Prasma steps around his man and into the zone. Disrupted there. Herman, the reinforcement, unable to maintain control, and the Wildcats move back out. It's Carter Karinsky. He's going to run his man over. NC State unable to clear. Kentucky with a backhand try there. It was softly on goal and easily handled by Roberts. NC State up the near wall. Another big hit from the NC State bench. Ice Pack starting to look a little bit intimidated by the contact here. Loose puck on top of the crease. Labrizzi finds it. NC State will skate it out. Prasma gets tripped up again.
He's got a long shift, Chris.
Now Kentucky back to the neutral zone. Hazelton looking to the middle. Nobody there. NC State takes over. Pass to the middle. Finds Patterson. Now to Giancani. Looking back to Ben Patterson. Unable to connect. NC State trying to get back and take it again. Kentucky through the neutral zone. That's Supan. Able to send it behind the NC State net. Ice Pack looking to establish the breakout. Too much pressure though from Kentucky. Centering pass. It'll be swallowed up by the glove of Roberts. And a face-off in front of the NC State goal with 4:17 to play.
Well, Chris, I cut you off earlier. Prasma had a long shift. He kind of took two big hits there. That one where he's kind of the leading man, the screener, if you will, where NC State carried the puck through the neutral zone, got taken out there, and then another time at neutral ice, took a big hit as well. He was out there for a long time, though, and he's someone that does have a lot of stamina. He was out there extended on that really good chance he had earlier in the game, those couple shots that he had. But if you're
Kentucky's going to have to be careful, too. They're walking the line. They love to be aggressive and physical, but there are a couple of times like the timing on the hits were off. Just haven't seen an arm go up at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say, NC State's got to keep their head on the swivel because Kentucky's been really throwing the body around in the last 5-6 minutes.
Under 4 to go here in the first period. Still 1-0 Kentucky. They've been able to dictate the majority of play throughout the course of this game so far. Out shooting NC State 8-4, and of course they have the advantage in the most important statistical category, 1-0. NC State will set up the breakout from behind the goal. Darlene looking up the middle, that one poked away. NC State will take this opportunity to change as Nick Hahn gets back to it. Stretch pass misses the initial target, but the follow-up, Hatefield finds it. His headman pass stolen by Payne. He'll chip it off the glass and in. NC State on the forecheck now. Wyazhin leaves it in the corner for Hahn. Up the wall where Lapani can shoot it back in. Riley Allen behind the goal. Lapani at the blue line, one-timer. Deflected on goal, pad save, and it's covered up by Allen. He hasn't faced a lot, but he's had to be sharp on a couple of occasions like that one.
Yeah, he's been ready. And if we slow this replay down in front when we get the shot look, it's all just right in front. I believe that was Keegan Gilmore in front. I thought it was Kaufman at first, but great deflection. Caught Allen a little off guard, but Chris, like you said, he's been ready for everything he's faced. Now 5 shots on goal for the Icepack.
NC State trying to force their way forward off the draw. Kentucky going to control though. Played up the near wall to be poked along and out by Rodriguez. NC State first to it. Breakout pass, weak and sent back in by Patefield of Kentucky. Kaufman now has it for the Pack. Played up the wall for Langston, that's shut down. Kaufman back to it in the corner. He'll play it behind. Shoveled forward. Gilmore unable to glove it down. Now Pasquarosa gets stuck up in the middle of the ice. Johnson. A spinorama pass, that doesn't work. Kentucky putting some pressure on in the NC State end now. Johnson turning on a dime with it, looking forward for Finch. That pass intercepted, and Kentucky comes in off sides the other way. That'll stop the clock with 2:09 left in the first.
Ty Patefield not happy with that offsides call. He's still talking about it now as he skates to the bench. But no, Chris, I heard on one of the hot mics we have down the ice, a little sloppy at center ice for NC State, and you can definitely say that. I think that stretch pass for Austin Finch was a little too forced there. I don't think he was really open the whole time. But for NC State, 2 minutes left in this period, they could turn their fortune in their kind of stick flies in the air there. They could kind of turn the message.
Johnson absorbs a hit, loses the puck. Kentucky takes it back. Johnson back to it, spinning out of pressure. They'll knock it into the zone, but the Wildcats send it back out. Finch able to take control for NC State. Breezy trying to thread it through for Johnson. That puck taken away though. Flipped in by Lottie. Behind the goal, they'll fight for it. Govea finds the loose puck. He has it taken away though by LaRue. Behind the net, the Kentucky captain leaves it along the wall. Stuck in the corner. Breezy has his man pinned. It's a 4-man scrum, 1:18 left in the first period. LaRue there, LaBreezy also pinned to the wall. Govea helping out. It's Kentucky's Eli Bailey, the goal scorer, who gets it back to the blue line. Back to Bailey. Twirl with it, behind the goal. LaRue looking up top, he's got Supan. Back to LaRue, 1 minute left in the period, and the pass intercepted. Johnson will skate it to the red line and send it deep. NC State needs fresh legs.
Alex Klingerman, Kyler Sun went at it in front of the net. Sun took Klingerman down, could have easily been called a penalty after it looked like Klingerman kind of grabbed hold of his stick. Then on the ground, Sun kind of pushed him away from the net, if you will.
Kentucky takes over on top of the NC State blue line. Nice play to intercept by Preston Hazelton. Doesn't have a lot of help there, though. Puck gets stopped up right there on the blue line. Darlene tripped up. NC State going to get a power play here. Prasma, though, carrying it in. Takes the shot just wide. And now Kentucky will touch up. 20 seconds left in the period. And the Ice Pack maybe getting the break they needed as Darlene was tripped up in the neutral zone.
Yeah, it's going to be a tripping penalty on the freshman Preston Hazelton from Lake Orion, Michigan. And NC State's power play so far, Chris, has looked pretty good. I believe they've got 2 goals on the power play so far this season in 3 games. And it seemed like the back end of this period, nothing was going right for NC State. Puck's kind of been in their own D zone for a good bit of this period. 20 seconds left in this one, in this period, I should say. Great chance for the Ice Pack to flip that.
An emphasis of practice last night was the power play, as NC State expected to have some chances on the man advantage tonight. Here's their first. They're almost out of time in the period, though. Shot from Gifford is gloved and held on to by Allen with 4.1 seconds left in the period, 1:44 on the power play.
I'm going to be interested to see who takes this face-off, Chris, because I'm going to assume it's going to be a quick shot on goal with just 4.1 remaining. And you see NC State trying to set it up. Gifford telling someone to go.
The goal side of the ice. Kaufman on the draw. Wins it back for Gifford. High slot shot, blocker saved by Allen. That should finish up the period. Big save from the UK netminder to keep it a 1-0 game. But feels like NC State's starting to find their footing here, Nick. Kentucky really controlled the first 10 minutes, maybe even a little bit more.
Yeah, they definitely did. And for NC State, they got to use this power play as a way to get out of the rut, if you will, right now, because they've been stuck in their own D zone for a good bit of this game. Kentucky's been forechecking. They've been winning every single board battle, it feels like, especially in the corners. They're getting to those pucks first, being able to be more physical as well. So I think for NC State, they need a jolt of energy. Going into the second period, they're going to be on that power play. It could be generated from that. It could be generated from something else. But Chris, you said it earlier, they look a little flat. They need something to get energized right now.
Well, one thing that could energize them would be a power play goal. They have 1 minute and 40 seconds left on the man advantage going into period number 2. As I mentioned, they spent a good amount of time really kind of working on that. They had some pre-practice meetings on power plays and the man advantage last night as well, so it'll be interesting to see. They got to start at center ice, but it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do with more extended time on the power play in the second period. But we are through 20 minutes so far here at Invisalign Arena, and it is the visitors who have taken the lead. The freshman Eli Bailey has given the Wildcats a 1-0 lead as we head to the first intermission.
Welcome back to Invisalign Arena. I'm Grace Motto here with Austin Finch. And Austin, you guys are trailing by 1. You know, what is Coach preaching to you in the locker room to try to change that?
Coach has been saying we need to be harder on pucks, we need to be stronger, we need to win battles. We're losing a lot of 50-50 battles right now, and this is not the same team that we had last weekend. Last weekend we set a new standard for our team, and we haven't shown it this first period at all.
And you guys are starting with a leg up here on the power play. What kind of energy is that going to bring, you know, set the tone? I know you guys during practice you were talking and practicing your power play, so what is that going to translate to in the second period?
Hopefully the boys get it going here and get us a goal to get us back in the game. And we're down 1-0 right now. Shots were looking kind of soft for us in the first half of that period, but hopefully the power play boys can get to work and get a goal for us.
And this game was mainly played in the neutral and D zone. So what do you have to say about that?
I think the puck's been bouncing a lot. We don't have our structure at the moment. We're just kind of playing barely hockey, and we need to get back to our structure in the way we played last weekend. We have a new standard, and we need to follow it.
Yeah, and obviously you have some new names, new faces on the roster. Obviously, the team culture is a huge part of any hockey team. So what are you trying to do to introduce the new guys? Obviously, some new guys in the lineup, some are just sitting back and watching, trying to be the best version of themselves. What do you have to say about that?
I think that every guy has an important role here with us, whether they're in the stands or on the ice with us. Some of the guys have their first game tonight, and they fit in just well. Other guys have been playing for a couple of years. I had to sit out tonight, but everyone takes on their new role quite well.
All right, well, it's been a pleasure to interview you. We will be back with Chris and Nick, who will talk more about hockey, and hopefully we will see you guys get on the board soon.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's going to take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
Why are sandwiches so much better hot?
I don't know. Why does everyone love summer or hot gossip? Hotter is just better.
Oh, don't forget about hot ovens. Or hot peppers.
Hot springs, hot chocolate.
Hot sandwiches.
Ooh.
Hot soup, hot air balloons. Hot yoga.
I get it. Hotter is better.
Or hot melted cheese. Sorry.
Potbelly, we bring the hot.
Happy birthday, Max.
Yes! I'm Joan the Phone, here to show you 4 easy ways to stay safe online. Come on. We can secure our world when you choose your passwords. Make them strong. Use a password manager to help you along. But don't just use a password alone. Get a call, get a text, or a code on your phone.
MFA really works.
We can secure our world. When it's time to update an app, don't you hesitate. Do it ASAP.
Just like that.
Watch out for offers too good to be true.
What?
It's probably someone trying to take advantage of you.
Hey, that's phishing.
Let's report it. Install updates. Make better passwords. Think before you click. Use multiple factors. That's how we can secure our world. Learn more at CISA.gov/secure our world.
For each life moment, your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. Your kids may be eligible now, even if you've applied before. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Get started now at insurekidsnow.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
Chris Lehman and Nick Perazzi back with you here at Invisalign Arena. After 20 minutes, it is 1-0 Kentucky. And Nick, for NC State, it was about the start. They did not start on the right foot.
No, the first 15 seconds was great for the Ice Pack. Got a quick couple of great looks, got ozone time, and then Kentucky brought some physicality, and then all of a sudden the ice just tilted. At first it was about 50-50, but really the last 12 minutes of that period, it was all Kentucky, and it kept snowballing from there and there. And especially when Eli Bailey got that goal for Kentucky, that kind of cemented things for the rest of the period.
I think one thing that has been a theme through the first few weekends as well is physicality, and for NC State matching their opponent's physicality. This is the third game we've had here at Invisalign where we've been able to see the team in person, and I feel like at some point in every game, including here in the first period, for a brief moment, it felt like NC State was a little bit intimidated by the physicality.
No, they definitely were, and in our next stand-up, Chris, we're actually going to talk more about that physicality. But Kentucky's throwing that body around. 5, 6, 7, 8 big hits for the Wildcats this past year, and NC State really hasn't responded. And because of that, it looks like NC State's playing a little bit slower. The physicality's wearing them down. But you got a minute 40 on the power play to start the second period.
Yeah, and they still have to solve the riddle that is Riley Allen. We talked about him in the pregame. He didn't face a lot early, but when he did face some tests, they were some tough ones late in the period, and he was up to the task.
Yeah, he definitely was, especially that little sliding poke check. And, of course, the deflection in front from Keegan Gilmore. Good to see him back out on the ice after taking that awkward hit against the boards on his one opportunity. But on the board right now, just 7 shots for NC State, 8 for Kentucky. A lot of those shots for NC State just came on that power play, but they got some good looks, Chris.
Well, as you mentioned, power play is coming up for NC State to start the period. We'll look at that. We'll take a look at some highlights when we come back. after the puck drop for the second period here at Invisalign Arena, we're going to take a look now at what happened in the first period. And one of the themes, Nick, that we want to highlight is physicality. We're going to keep an eye on that in the second period. Here's a look at some of that physicality. And like we said, there were a few times like that instance, the puck didn't come all the way through. The contact still happened. And if you're Kentucky, you got to continue to walk that line, but be careful.
Yeah, and this is a great example as well. Kentucky able to win the puck back afterwards, get a good shot on goal, was able to get stopped. But again, coming the other way, big hit in front of the net. Kentucky's brought the physicality. We knew that coming in. But can NC State match that is the question, Chris.
Yeah, and it is going to be important for NC State to match that, but most importantly, I think it's going to be the power play. They've got 1 minute and 40 seconds on it when we start the second period, and that's what we've got when we return. 1-0 Kentucky, second period next.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's going to take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
Why are sandwiches so much better hot?
I don't know. Why does everyone love summer or hot gossip? Hotter is just better.
Oh, don't forget about hot ovens or hot peppers.
Hot springs, hot chocolate,
Hot sandwiches.
Ooh.
hot soup, hot air balloons, hot yoga.
I get it. Hotter is better.
Or hot melted cheese.
Sorry.
Potbelly, we bring the hot.
Happy birthday, Max.
Yes! I'm Joan the Phone, here to show you 4 easy ways to stay safe online. Come on. We can secure our world when you choose your passwords. Make them strong. Use a password manager to help you along. But don't just use a password alone. Get a call, get a text, or a code on your phone.
MFA really works.
We can secure our world. When it's time to update an app, don't you hesitate. Do it ASAP.
Just like that.
Watch out for offers too good to be true.
What?
It's probably someone trying to take advantage of you.
Hey, that's phishing.
Let's report it. Install updates. Make better passwords. Think before you click. Use multiple factors. That's how we can secure our world. Learn more at CISA.gov/secure our world.
For each life moment, your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. Your kids may be eligible now, even if you've applied before. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Get started now at insurekidsnow.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
The all-new ESPN app has arrived. It's all of ESPN, all in one place. It's your home for the most and best live sports and a whole new way to experience ESPN. With over 47,000 live events, studio shows, and ESPN originals and brand new features sports fans dream. Personally, I'm a favorite of the multi-view where you can watch up to 4 games at once. The feature has arrived, and it's called ESPN. So download the ESPN app on your TV or mobile device, log in, and start streaming. Let me welcome you back to Invisalign Arena. Nick Perazzi here with Chris Lehman. Chris, about to start the second period. Talked about physicality during the break. Be interested to see if NC State brings it, but they're going to start with the minute 40 on the man advantage.
We talked about NC State spent some time emphasizing the power play last night. There were a couple of things in particular that they were emphasizing, and one of them is zone entry. and getting into the zone and possessing the puck when you enter on the man advantage. So we'll see if that work pays off as we get started in the second. Puck quickly out of play, 5 seconds in. So we'll restart at center ice. NC State with Govea, Herman, Johnson, Prasma, and Labrizzi on the ice. The 4 penalty killers for Kentucky are Gabriel Rodriguez and Ty Patefield as the forwards. Johnson in, they score! Oh, what a play in front. It was a tap-in goal side, and NC State ties it 19 seconds into the period.
What was that about zone entry you were talking about, Chris? Because that's exactly what NC State did. It was a set play from the start that they won the faceoff. Look at Prasma across. Johnson looking like his older brother there with a beautiful dime to Daniel Prasma. And NC State, just 19 seconds into the period, ties this game at 1 apiece. Whatever NC State did last night, Chris, Tim Healy's got to be happy that it just paid off right there with ease.
Well, and that's exactly the start you wanted if you were NC State. Get that goal back, build off the momentum you had created in the final few minutes of the first, and then go from there. So now we're back to square, 1-1 here early on in the second. Roberts out to play it. He'll shoot it around the wall. Prasma now looking to break it out. Floating one through the neutral zone. Getting a stick to it for the Cats was Lobby. Both teams struggling to control. Lobby has it for the Wildcats. As he dumps it in, he'll throw Sun to the ice. The defenseman for NC State trying to lay a hit of his own, and the tables turned on himself.
Yeah, Kyler Sun for NC State's been the one that has brought the physicality for the Ice Pack. He's kind of the lone wolf out there. Now Prasma, well, he's going to try it as well.
Separate his man from the puck. NC State in control. Gifford, rink wide for Sun. Turns his back on LaRue, who knocks him to the ice and jars the puck loose. Kentucky sends it deep. Roberts back behind will set it on a tee for Labrizzi. Breakout pass. Johnson pushes it along, gets it back from Herman. NC State unable to control. Sun hard off the boards and in. Kentucky back in control. Played off the boards for McNeil. Puck stopped up at the blue line. NC State comes away with it. It's Finch. Steps around his man, but gets knocked away from the puck. And now Kentucky in control. Nick Delaney steps around Labrizzi. He'll take the shot right into the gut of Roberts. No problem controlling the rebound.
Well, Kentucky's got a good opportunity here. Now, if they have a player with a stick. Now, we saw a stick fly earlier, and that forced Kentucky to make a change. It left Delaney all by himself. And by the time Kentucky got that change off, it was too late. I'm surprised it didn't, just give him another stick. It looked like that's what they were doing, but it looked like a line change was happening as well with it, and that's why it was just Delaney all by himself.
NC State wins the draw and clears. Shot right back in from the defense by Dylan Ulan. Breakout pass intended there for Govea, intercepted. Kentucky trying to turn it into a scoring chance. Stuck at the high slot. Johnson sweeps it out of the zone. NC State trying to pressure. Chipped up that far wall. Attempt fails, but the pass back to the middle for Yell. Able to get out of the zone. Finch stops up his man, knocks the puck loose, and Darlene collects. He'll move across for Payne, on and off his stick. Payne chases it back down into the zone. He takes a shot. Allen handles it easily. NC State, though, will control. Darlene back at the point. The shot blocked, and now a chance coming for Kentucky. Breakaway here for Delaney, in on Roberts, and a big pad save by the goaltender. NC State bailed out by their netminder. Big play. It was really kind of an unfortunate bounce on the blocked shot. But a great chance there for Kentucky. Now Gilmore back the other way. He'll be knocked away from the puck, and the Wildcats collect the loose change. Hazelton with speed trying to chip and chase into the neutral zone. But Lapani there to take it away. Pasquarosa who shoots it deep. Kentucky first to it. Pasquarosa along the wall. Finds Langston in the corner. No retreat up the boards. Go for Kaufman. He's stripped of the puck. Nick Hahn in control. Hahn, one of the leaders on the back end. Stretch pass too far. In on Roberts, and with the pressure coming, will melt it down. 16:31 to go in the period.
Well, Chris, we said at the top of the show, a name you got to look out for is Nick Delaney. They said he's having a slow start to the season, and just it's a great opportunity on just an unlucky bounce for NC State. But again, Roberts for NC State's just been an animal, and that for the Ice Pack. And I saw Delaney coming off the ice. Looked like he was taking ownership for not scoring there, but I don't think there was much he could have done there. I think he did everything right. It's just Roberts made one heck of a save.
NC State wins the draw but can't clear. Shot blocked down by Mascarosa in the circle. And this one hops the stick of the defenseman in Santangelo. He'll chase back for it. Santangelo with some speed. Looking cross ice, hits the stick of Patefield, but unable to control. Mascarosa behind the net. Esther there, puts it off for Lapani. Down the boards, can't connect there with Rinaldi. And the pressure continues for Kentucky. Finally, NC State able to break it out. Headman pass being chased down by Gianconti, looking to the middle for Patterson. The pass disrupted, and Kentucky going to track it down in the near corner. Trying to break it out up the near side. Centering pass just misses Connie. So NC State has to check up as they send it back in. Shots 11-9 right now in favor of Kentucky. They lead the period 3-2 in shots as well, but it's NC State with a goal that's tied things up. Here's a chance again. Herman moving forward. He's got Prasma and Gifford with him. To the middle. Gifford having some trouble. He's taken down from behind, and Kentucky will go back the other way. Nice hit at the blue line by Sun. That will slow up the Wildcats. Forced to dump it in and get a change.
That opportunity for NC State, very similar to Herman's game winner against Georgia 2 weeks ago, but he decided to dump the puck off there. A great defensive play by Kentucky to take away that puck and come the other way with it.
It's a bit of a half-hearted play, too. I think he was torn between Prasma and Gifford.
I think
neither were great options, and neither were horrible options. And it ended up just turning into a bit of a confusing play. Shot in on Roberts, handles it with the pad. Now Labrizzi playing it forward. Prasma touches it for Herman. Herman slowed down and then taken down as the puck goes into the corner. NC State still with the forecheck on. Prasma trying to take it away. Force a clearance from Nick Hahn. NC State throws it back deep again. Vercetto with it. This puck on top of the Kentucky blue line with some speed. Lobby has it for the Wildcats. His shot sticked away by Roberts. Cats first to it in the corner. Darlene will pin his man in LaRue to the wall. Puck squirts loose. NC State first to it, but again, having some trouble exiting the zone. Herman shovels it out. He's going to head to the bench for a change. Hahn looking forward to LaRue. Backhand pass, trying to connect with a teammate. Labrizzi slows that down. Lobby still able to get to it before he loses his footing in the high slot. Sustained pressure from Kentucky, and now a little miscue. They're going to have to retreat. It gives NC State some breathing room to get some more fresh legs on the ice. Ovea going to come in off sides as he pokes the puck away from Nick Delaney.
First stoppage in a while, Chris, and something I've noticed right in front of the Kentucky bench, Chris, I don't know if you can see it, it looks like there's a little bit of puddling going on. It got to about 90 degrees today here in Raleigh. And we've heard, 2 weeks ago against Georgia, I've heard a couple players complaining that it was just felt hot on ice level. And I don't know if that's playing into a factor a little bit. Can't tell from the rest of the ice, but you definitely see a little bit of puddling in certain areas.
I think you can see it still a little bit. I think at this point in the period, it's probably not as impactful as it was early on, but we did see that at practice last night, some puddles early on after the Zamboni had come up. NC State into the zone. Shot swallowed up by Allen. And Govea over on the far side took a big hit into the wall as he took that shot.
And Kentucky happy about that big hit. They brought the physicality tonight. We sound like a broken record saying it, but they're proud of it. It generates momentum, and it's been intimidating NC State. Still waiting on them to respond with a big hit of their own. We've seen a couple of guys throw the body around, but Kentucky's been able to perform a lot of reverse hits.
I will say, I think this period NC State hasn't shied away from the contact quite like it felt like they did at times in the first. And you can certainly see the ice pack dictating a little bit more of the period than they did last time. And now this is what we were talking about NC State needing to avoid. You can't get suckered into retaliating. And especially if it is Govea, as you mentioned there, Nick, to have your alternate captain be the one sucked into it, that doesn't help either.
Yeah, watch on the right side of your screen. This is after the play, getting a lot of pushes and shoves from Charlie Chinian. Did not like that. It's going to be a 2-minute penalty for boarding against Govea, Chris. And I just said, NC State hasn't returned the big hit. They haven't shied away from the physicality. And of course, right there, Govea kind of twisted my words a little bit, delivered a big hit, but fortunately for him, he's going to go to the box for 2 minutes. So you get a discussion at center ice. It is just going to be 2 minutes, maybe a little bit of discussion if it was going to be a little bit more or not because of where that boarding penalty took place. Herman's asking for a clarification on the call as well.
He may be asking, as like we've said, there have been some times where Kentucky's gotten away with hits away from the puck. And there are times where it's felt like you were going to see your penalty, you should have seen a penalty, and haven't. And we've seen a little bit on both sides of that. I feel like we've seen it a little bit more on the Kentucky side. But that might be the question here. It's like, when does the penalty, when does the call come our way?
Yeah.
This will be the second power play of the game for Kentucky. We're unable to capitalize with Kyler Sun in the box, a little over halfway through the period in the first. This will be their second opportunity. LaRue on the draw up against NC State's Kaufman. Kentucky able to win, trying to control. And it'll be a hand pass that stops play as it was knocked down by the glove of Anthony Santangelo.
That's got to come out of the zone since the hand pass was in the no zone.
For NC State.
Yeah, big break for NC State. And, you know, they've had a lot of success in the faceoff circle. Don't have the numbers, but I won't be surprised if NC State's winning the faceoff dot right now. But a lot of these power plays start in the faceoff dot, and if you can win them, NC State wins it. Now Kentucky is going to have to break out for their own end.
Slap shot rings the boards for NC State's Lapani as Kaufman gets taken down going after the puck. Kentucky back into the zone. Finch will pitch that one off. Loose puck picked up by Pasquarosa and sent down the ice.
Yeah, a couple of fans and I believe players from NC State wanted a penalty there. I think Kaufman just got boxed out there a little bit. Couldn't get an angle to the puck, and that's how he went down.
So speed for Santangelo. They'll chip it into the zone and go after it. First to it behind the net as well. Good stick play by Lapani, knocks his man away from the puck, but it's Lobby moving it back for LaRue. They'll go D to D and get it back. Now Lobby. Santangelo at the blue line. Worked across to Delaney. Now Lobby again. Kentucky looking for the shot lane, not finding it. Lobby now through traffic. That one hit Pasquarosa, looks like up under the arm, and he's stung. Chance here, another block. This time it's Kaufman. Finch trying to pinch up and get it out of the zone. He forces a puck out of play into the Kentucky bench, and Pasquarosa then over, headed back to the NC State bench. We get another look at that block here.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it in slow motion. It was a fanned-on shot from Anthony Santangelo, and then just right in front. You would think that would get blocked actually from Lapani, but instead went to Pasquarosa, and hopefully he's all right. Second player for NC State to get shaken up on that end. We saw Keegan Gilmore early in the first period take a hit as that one goes into the neutral zone.
Bouncing puck gives Kentucky some trouble. They'll have to regroup in the neutral zone. Behind the net, Roberts looking to clear it out himself. Nice deflection from Patterson to help it down the ice. 27 seconds left on the minor penalty to Joey Govain.
It looked like Roberts got that puck and it's like, oh my gosh, everyone's coming in around me. I got to do something here. Just said the best opportunity is just get it away from me. But again, Kentucky is having a hard time right now picking up the puck, keeping possession of it, and keeping it on their stick. They're losing their acorns, Chris.
Roberts again behind the net, thrown around the wall. Johnson has it. He'll play it off the boards for Patterson with some speed. He touches it along past Bogosian. Behind the net. Bogosian, pardon me. And now Kentucky carries it back out. Working behind the goal. Shot from a bad angle, hits Gifford and misses the net. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey. As the puck cleared up into the netting. And we'll get a stoppage, 10:41 left in the second. Tie hockey game, 1-1.
And NC State can't change here. And Patterson is about to go off. But because that went into the netting on their own end, they're not allowed to change. Kentucky will get a couple of new bodies out there, a new forward group at least. It's going to be centered by Carter Karinsky. Got Eli Bailey, the goal scorer, on his left. Excuse me, taking the face off me, Preston Hazelton. If you're Kentucky right now, NC State's matched it a little bit. 0 for 2 now on the power play. Power play's been a little bit shaky for Kentucky, Chris. NC State's penalty kill is the real deal this year, is what it seems like in the first now 4 games.
NC State controls off the D-zone draw. Patterson's breakout pass is deflected back behind the goal line. NC State try again. Patterson has another pass deflected. This gets out of the zone though, but he tracked down by Santangelo. Just an edge behind the net, able to regroup. Hands it off for Supan. NC State back in possession. Played forward by Lubrisi. Nobody in a red jersey up that far side though. Hoffman trying to steal it back from Supan. Hits him to the wall. Johnson there to help out. He'll dig the puck loose. NC State finds it. Gifford played back for Lubrisi. Now he'll lift it into the zone. NC State making some changes. Kentucky has some time to try and set up the breakout. Lubrisi unable to corral the bouncing puck, and now Kentucky's got some speed. Shot just wide of the goal. A good chance there from a speedy Carter Marinsky. Now NC State can flip the script. Langston's shot is blocked at the defense. NC State trying to hold the zone, but can't. Off the bench, it's Delaney. Trying to play a little give and go with Chinian. That doesn't work out. NC State now has numbers as Kentucky caught in a change. Shot from an off angle, whistles wide for Talon Langston. It's stuck along the wall on the near side. Sun pitching in front of his own bench. He holds the zone. Caught back deep. Gilmore in on the forecheck. Left in the corner for Dylan Uline. Uline goes cross ice for Delaney, who breaks in. Has a man crashing towards the net. The centering pass doesn't get there though. And now Kentucky into center. They've got some pressure in front of the net. Chance, and now they'll blow the whistle. Net was off the moorings after the contact in front. I believe it was Kyler Sun and Macklin Yell that knocked the net off, and once the official noticed, they blew the whistle.
That's a big break for NC State. A couple of block shots for Kentucky, but it looked like that puck was going to go into a corner. Looked like Lubrisi was going to get there, but Kentucky's done a great job trapping NC State on those corners, winning those big scrums in the corners as well, getting the puck back, generating more offense.
Kentucky wins the face-off forward. That was Charlie Chinian. Wildcats keep the zone as well. Gilmore to the puck on the far wall. Looking to sweep it to the middle. Again, the Wildcats able to hold it in. Play from Chinian there. This time the breakout pass off the wall finds Gilmore. He'll step in through a pair of defenders, able to hold the puck as it's caught up in his skates. Gilmore now in the corner. Over skates it a bit. Pinned to the wall though by Nick Kahn. On Gilmore. Chinian in there as well as Giancani for NC State.
Still moving. I haven't blown it dead.
Stuck in the skates there. It finally pops loose. Kentucky able to come away with it and move it out. Yell needs a change, so he'll dump it in on Roberts. NC State has a chance to break out. Patterson looking off the wall, able to connect there with Rinaldi. Has Pasquarosa moving in with speed on the near side. Pasquarosa sent into the wall. Good heavy hit there for the Kentucky defense. They got a chance to move back the other way. Abbreviated 2-on-1. Shot stopped by Roberts. He's clipped as he tries to get to the rebound. Lost his stick again. And now Kentucky with some pressure and an opportunity. Rinaldi needs to break it out for NC State. Roberts does have his stick back as Patterson's pickpocketed. And Kentucky reverses again. Here's Lobby from the high slot. Walks around Lapani, looks to the middle, they score! Great pass and a beautiful finish from Alex Klingerman. 2-1 Kentucky.
Well, this all starts from the pass to Klingerman, Chris, or Klingerman's Chris. They're able to get Lapani off of his line, and then it's just a beautiful feed across from Jake Lobby. And then Alex Klingerman able to finish it off. 2-1 Kentucky. A lot of momentum built from NC State after that power play goal. It looked like it was pretty even play for the most part since then, but a couple of just bad bounces for the Ice Pack. They lose the puck a lot at neutral ice, and Kentucky finally takes advantage of one of those odd man rushes. They've had a couple of those tonight, and that's the first really big one that they've had.
Herman has it tied up in his skates in the neutral zone. Taken away by Santangelo, who shoots it in. Sent around the wall by Roberts. Nobody there in a red jersey to collect. Pass to the middle, off the skate of Gifford, who gets to the loose puck. He'll play it along for Herman. Looking back to the middle, his pass shut down immediately by Santangelo. NC State resets at the red line. Mason Payne overshoots Herman on the pass forward. Kentucky shuts that down. Krasma now at the blue line. Trying to step through everybody and can't take the puck with him. Kentucky clears. This puck in the neutral zone again. The Wildcats shoot it deep. Payne up the near side. Gifford has space to skate. Moving in, shooting. Save made by Allen, and he'll hold on to the rebound.
Pretty simple save there from Allen, but it forces an ozone draw for the Icebacks. There's a little bit of commotion in front of the net after the play. Gifford at the middle of it. Looks like Jack Noel was jawing at the bit as well, but if you're NC State, you look back to that first goal Kentucky had. They didn't really respond. They responded great, first 30 seconds after, but the rest of the period they didn't really respond that well. You've got 6:15 left in the second period. How are you going to respond after going back down 2-1? I think that's a big question for how the rest of this game could go.
Going down by Sonny, finds Finch, backhand pass in the middle for Gouveia. Shut down, and now with speed, Preston Hazelton the other way. Backhand try, he goes crashing into the wall as he lost an edge. NC State back in control. They're going to move forward quickly. Johnson, miscommunication there with Finch. And it's turned over. Kentucky again. Eli Bailey played a long shot. Coming, glove save. Roberts loose in the creases. Roberts gets tangled up with a Kentucky player. They score, but it's going to be waved off. The whistle had blown early. Roberts had been tangled up there with a Wildcat in the net. Looks like that was Preston Hazelton. And he didn't really have an opportunity to play the puck, so great call by the official to blow that dead.
Yeah, we're going to get a great look here. We're going to see if we can slow this down in front. There's a lot of confusion in front. Right there, Hazelton got pushed into there by Sun a little bit, because I was going to say, Chris, it was not a great shot from the point. There was a lot of traffic, would have been hard for Roberts to see, but that puck just easily went by him. And they're saying that he was interfered with. And a timeout for NC State here. They're reeling a little bit. One more look at it. Yeah, Sun's going after Preston Hazelton a good bit there in the net. No avail from Kentucky. Got there first, and Sun kind of cleared the door, said you're not going to get out. So if he scores, it's going to be goaltender's interference. You're in the crease as well. Really, he was in the net before the puck was. But Chris, interesting timeout here from Tim Healy. You give up that second goal of the game. You go down 2-1, and then Kentucky gets a goal wiped off the board immediately after. They have not responded well since that second goal, and I think that's exactly why they take this timeout. Like I said, they've been reeling for a good bit since that goal. I think they need to get their composure together and come up with a game plan and a play for the next about 90 seconds, next 1 or 2 shifts, about how they're going to get the puck back into the ozone.
Yeah, I don't know that it's really all that technical in X's and O's for this team. It's more, I think, about trying to reset the energy level and get back to what they were doing early on in the period that had them looking like the better team, because Kentucky has flipped the script again on them. See how the timeout helps out. 5:41 left in the period. Off the draw, Kentucky wins. Delaney's shot through traffic doesn't get to the net. NC State able to move it out into neutral ice. Delaney fires it back in. Rosa has it, and he will start the breakout from behind the NC State cage.
Also fresh bodies for NC State after that timeout. That could have been a big reason too.
They had trouble with that one on the backhand. Skitters all the way down into the corner. They'll fight for it there. Pops back behind the goal. Finch with the pressure. Gouveia the follow-up. Plays it back to the point. Ascarosa's shot is blocked. Leaves it for Lapani. They'll move it down low. Around the wall. Ascarosa. For Johnson, turnaround pass to the middle. It's a bit of a blind pass, nobody there. But now it's turned over to Gouveia. Forward for Johnson. That gets caught up in his skates. And now Talon Langston moving down the right wall. Gets stuck up in front of the NC State bench. Thrown in on Allen. He'll hold on for a face-off.
Well, they were able to get to the ozone, Chris. They were able to break out from their own end. Got a good defensive play to get the puck back to neutral ice after Kentucky couldn't contain the puck themselves. And you get a quick couple of shots on goal. Great steal by Gouveia in the slot, but he kind of forced the pass a little bit, didn't really look. And I believe it was Talon Langston who just wasn't ready for it because he thought Kentucky was going the other way with it.
Hoffman on the draw for NC State. He'll square up with the captain, LaRue. LaRue wins the draw backwards. NC State, they're going to get to a loose puck first. Langston to Kaufman. Get pinned to the wall there by LaRue. Puck comes loose. Kaufman able to grab it back, but a centering pass taken away. Now Kentucky moving forward. Klingerman under some pressure, sends it deep. Sent right back by Roberts, has Langston. Throws it behind Gilmore off the wall. Keaton Gilmore almost got to it. Now he'll fight for it behind the goal. Gilmore, good hustle on the forecheck to retrieve that puck. He'll look up the boards for Darlene, hops his stick out of the zone, and now NC State gonna have to regroup. Mason Payne sends it in. 4 minutes left in the period. 2-1 Kentucky. NC State tied it up just 19 seconds into the period. The Wildcats with an answer over 3 minutes ago. Darlene's pass intercepted by LaRue and sent back in. Roberts along the boards for Darlene again. Rinaldi shoots it across, intercepted at the defense by Supan. Moved out. Kaufman sweeps it in again. Supan. The near side, it bounces out of the zone. Luisi off the glass and back in. NC State starting to put a little more pressure on Kentucky and making it difficult for them to control out of their own end. While not converting it into a whole lot of zone time, though, with possession. Patterson in after it in the corner. Gets the positioning, looking out in front, can't get the puck there. Rinaldi back up top. Delayed penalty coming up. NC State sends Roberts to the bench. We'll get a touch up, and NC State gets their second power play of the game, a roughing call. It'll be a 2-minute man advantage. Looks like the guilty party is going to be number 7, Ty Patefield.
Well, this is the last thing you want to do if you were Kentucky. NC State has had no success, it seems like, in a lot of areas of this game, except on the power play, where they were phenomenal that first chance they got, really to open up this period to tie the game at 1 at the time, and you're giving them another chance. They worked on it a lot this week. Whenever teams work on that power play a lot during the week, it usually transitions well, but they're going to have to start from neutral ice here.
Bad bounce as it hopped over the stick of Krasma and out of the zone. Krasma trying to set things up for NC State as they'll enter the zone. Herman carries it in. That's his pass intercepted and cleared.
Well, this is where NC State got that goal on that first power play. They started behind their net with Nick Labrisi. They found Krasma in front, but Krasma's going to take it down the wing here.
They'll weave into the zone. In the corner, stopped up there. Finds Govea, looking things over. Joey Govea behind the goal. As it poked loose, gets back to it and finds Herman. Across the blue line for Labrisi. Laid down Krasma back up top. Nick Labrisi. Again, Krasma. He'll step into one, deflects into the glass. NC State retrieves the rebound. 1:05 left on the power play. Herman all the way across for Krasma. Back to Labrisi. Top of the circle. Shot deflected wide. Vea might have gotten a piece of it. This time Kentucky clears.
A lot of open space on the right side of the ice for NC State. A lot of players on the left.
Here they go, trying to catch Kentucky in a bad change. Krasma had his centering pass denied. NC State still in control. 42 seconds left on the man advantage. Rebound cleaned up and cleared out by Santangelo. Looks like Kentucky not quite able to get everybody off the ice. Here comes Lobby. Shot. Catches the glass behind. NC State they'll make some changes themselves. 20 seconds left on the man advantage.
Yeah, it looked like the Iceback were trying to set something up for Herman. He was all by himself on the right side of the ice, but every time he was able to get the puck, it was bouncing or he had to skate back to it and didn't have really a good look, but a really good penalty kill from Kentucky.
Here's Patterson. 5 seconds left on the power play. NC State unsuccessful. Still down 1. Gifford from the point takes the shot. That one ends up in the netting. 50 seconds left in the period.
Well, one thing, Chris, to note this period, kind of felt like the first period, but NC State entered the period with just 7 shots on goal. They've got 7 now, but Kentucky with 9 shots on goal this period. They had 8 in the first, so shots on goal very similar, but for Kentucky, they've had a lot more in terms of high-quality shots on goal, even high-quality chances than NC State. You know, they've only been able to capitalize twice in the game on them, but if you're the Iceback, you got to generate more of those. They haven't really tested the goaltender too much for Kentucky.
Mason Payne circles behind his own net. takes some pressure, moves it forward. Good stick play by Talon Langston. Now Rinaldi's shot hits a leg and deflects wide. Langston to it in the corner, under some pressure, finds Payne. Through traffic, his shot seen by the goaltender Allen. Holds on to the rebound, 24.6 left on the clock.
Trying to see who NC State goes out here, but they're going to say they might go with this first line since there's about 25 seconds left in the period. That's exactly what they do. And I wonder, Chris, if they're going into that face-off dot with a set play specifically for someone like Prasma.
They'll have Gifford set up directly behind the centerman Herman. But instead it is Patefield winning the draw.
You need the puck to run those set plays, don't you?
Now Mason Payne retreating for it. Patefield putting him under pressure behind the goal. Some speed, 8 seconds left. Payne forces it out of the zone. Kentucky pitchforks it back up and out of play. Effectively brings the period to a close. 2.6 seconds left. You can see the NC State bench, particularly the head coach there, still trying to figure things out, put the pieces together.
And this game feels like a chess match, Chris. It really does right now for both teams. The way they've been coaching their styles. It seems like NC State is having trouble solving Kentucky at times as Prasma goes after it a little bit. He's getting whacked from Gabe Rodriguez. Prasma gave him a shove. Rodriguez trying to draw a penalty there a little bit, but he won't get the call. And there's still some jawing going on. Gifford a little bit as well. See if this picks up into the third period. If you're NC State, you got to keep your head down by 1. This is where Kentucky can get underneath your skin a little bit, get you to take a bad penalty, and then Kentucky might be able to put the nail in the coffin.
I think if you're NC State, a little bit of that chip on your shoulder that you see there at the end of the period, they're going to need to show some of that as they go into the third, kind of start it the way they started the second period. But I think if you're NC State, you're going to have to find a way to get back to your game, because right now I think the Ice Pack have allowed Kentucky to dictate a little bit too much of how this game is being played.
Yeah, they have definitely, Chris, and we're going to talk about it in the upcoming intermission. I'm going to speak to assistant coach of the Ice Pack, Aaron Mura, in a second, but it's going to be a very interesting third period for NC State in terms of how they adjust to how Kentucky's playing this game, and if Kentucky can keep that great forecheck, keep going, as well as that winning battle at neutral ice.
Well, they've got 20 minutes left. It's a 1-goal game, 2-1 Kentucky after 2.
Back here with second period and power play goal scorer Daniel Prasma. Daniel, your first goal on the year after a sensational season last year. Kind of walk us through that power play goal, especially since it came so early in the second period.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we talked about in the locker room. We knew if we got all three of us going with our speed, we could make something happen. So, I mean, just a great play by Breezy to Herman. Herman, great play to Reese. Reese to me, I mean, just perfect. Drew it up, and that's how it went, so it was good.
Yeah, and you guys worked on that a lot this week at practice. Kind of just speak to what it means to be able to put something from practice into actual gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. I mean, especially when you're spending time off the ice thinking about it, spending time on the ice working on it. It's definitely rewarding, but we got much more to come. We can make a lot more happen with plays like that. So.
Yeah, speaking of that, Kentucky's done a fantastic job with their forecheck as well as winning battles at neutral ice. Seems like they're getting a lot of bounces to go their way as well. How do you combat that going into this third period, down one?
I mean, just staying calm. We know we're able to take it to them, get some goals on the board. We know our forecheck, our breakout, all that stuff works. We just got to stick to it, relax a little bit, and it's going to come.
And you said sticking to it. I do want to ask you one final question. Should we see any adjustments? We've seen Kentucky be very physical. Are you guys going to try to retaliate with that physicality back a little bit?
Yeah, we definitely could be a lot more tough. We know that. We're definitely going to come out with a punch and just kind of go all out and make something happen.
Well, seconds into the second period, Daniel Prasma struck on the power play to make it 1-1 at the time. When we come back, me and Chris are going to break down what we saw in the second period.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
We talk forever about the future. Worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go, from ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make, with bright ideas, new tools, and a wolf pack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
When you look at me, you might see
a person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
You'll see
A warrior mom.
an endurance athlete.
someone with a lot of fight.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
is unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at cisa.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
Well, I'm looking good. Thank you. Just became a real ID. What's the plan? Impromptu road trip? Actually, the plan is to fly to New York for today's product launch, and then visit the family in California and cap it off with a girls' weekend in New Orleans. You really can just do all that. Sure, I'm a real ID, so I'm good to board any domestic flight. Speaking of which, gotta fly. Nice. Enjoy. I'll be here.
Be your Real ID self today. To learn how, visit tsa.gov/realid or your local DMV.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's going to take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's going to take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Chris Lehman back alongside Nick Perazzi here at the second intermission, and Kentucky still in front 2-1. NC State got off to a quick start with that goal to start the period, but again, they kind of fell back into the same pattern, it felt like, where Kentucky dictated a lot of the play as the period wore on.
Yeah, and NC State's very lucky that it's not 3-1 right now with that goal taken back. They're lucky that Kentucky hasn't really capitalized on a lot of great chances. Nick Delaney on a breakaway, on a lucky bounce, I believe early in that first period. He didn't find the back of the net. Great save by Roberts with a nice little pad save going back across, but it's 2-1 right now. NC State had to use their timeout after Kentucky's second goal in the second period because they were really, they looked dead in the water for a give it in a one-goal game. Kentucky sucked a lot of life out of this building. Got to give them a lot of credit. Their forecheck has been impenetrable. They've had a lot of great physicality today, and they're winning those neutral zone battles. It seems like all the bounces are going their way right now. And again, I just talked to Daniel Prasma on that last side of the break. He said we're going to stick to our ways, and we got to bring some of that physicality back to Kentucky to match them a little bit. I'll be interested to see if NC State does make some adjustments and some changes to addressing how Kentucky's playing this game.
Well, you talked about the Kentucky forecheck and how good it has been. NC State, when they've been able to get to the forecheck, it's been effective in the sense that they have not allowed Kentucky to control the puck into the neutral zone, but it hasn't been effective in that they've been able to establish themselves and get a lot of effective zone time. We've seen more of that from the Wildcats.
Yeah, and I think NC State offensively, I talked about this a week or two ago with some of the players, especially even on air. I'm trying to remember who it was. But a lot of guys trying to do too much right now for NC State, I think. A lot of these passes are just very quick. They're a little inerrant. Not everyone's ready for them. Now that power play for NC State, Zach Herman alone on that right side, everyone loaded up on the left, trying to give Herman a one-time opportunity, similar to what Washington does with Alexander Ovechkin on the power play. And a lot of those passes weren't being able to be made because Kentucky's doing a great job defending behind their net. And I think that's what's giving NC State a lot of the problems so far.
And in addition to defending behind the net, they're doing a pretty good job in front of the net too. A lot of the chances NC State is getting are shots from distance and not a lot of traffic for the goaltender and Allen to look through.
Yeah, definitely. And that was one of the Perazzi points at the start of the game. Stuck on Wade. Traffic. Get a lot of traffic in front of the net for both teams. Kentucky so far has done a great job of that when they have sustained ozone time. NC State, a lot of these shots deep from the point, not a lot of players in front. Really just one deflection on goal, and that was Keegan Gilmore back in the first period, who has played with a lot of heart, a lot of grit since he went down with that potential injury earlier in the first period. But overall for NC State, if you're going to stick to your ways, I think they got to play a little bit harder. They've got to get something to get momentum off of, whether it's a big play, a big hit, and they've got to build off of that.
Well, I think the silver lining, despite the fact that they're not playing up to the standard that they want to set, is that they're only down by one goal. They've still got 20 minutes left to figure this out and get back onto the right side of the scoreboard. And we're going to find out how they do that here shortly. We're going to talk about how we think they're going to do that on the other side of this break. Second intermission here at Invisalign Arena, 2-1 Kentucky. Still second intermission here at Invisalign Arena and a 2-1 lead for the Kentucky Wildcats. Chris Lehman and Nick Perazzi with you. Nick, as we start to look ahead at the third period, to me there are a couple things that I look at. First is the start of the period. I think the energy has to come from the jump, or else you give the opportunity to Kentucky to take control of the game again and dictate the pace and how things play out. The other thing is the physicality and creating space. Kentucky has taken away all the space that NC State has. They've hit hard, and they have not given NC State a lot of time. And NC State's going to have to find a way to make space and time.
And I think it starts with that physicality, Chris. Throw that body in, and even give some reverse hits, if you will, too. But you can't take a penalty. We saw Govea try to get that physicality back, took a penalty. We saw Sun as well get a little physical. He's kind of been the main source of physicality for NC State, but he's getting a lot of entanglement. The refs are letting a lot of things go tonight, Chris. If you're NC State, I think you can pick up that physicality a good bit and get away with some stuff. We see Kentucky get away with a little bit, nothing egregious yet. But I think this third period, the physicality and mentality is going to pick up.
Well, on top of that, you have to stay in control as well. Joey Govea took a little bit of an ill-advised boarding penalty in the middle of that second period. You can't give Kentucky more man advantage opportunities. It's also wasted time that you don't have in order to get that goal that you need to even things up. Just about set for the third period. We'll be back with Puck Drop.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's going to take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
Why are sandwiches so much better hot?
I don't know. Why does everyone love summer or hot gossip? Hotter is just better.
Oh, don't forget about hot ovens. Or hot peppers.
Hot springs, hot chocolate.
Hot sandwiches.
Ooh.
Hot soup, hot air balloons. Hot yoga.
I get it. Hotter is better.
Or hot melted cheese.
Sorry.
Potbelly, we bring the hot.
Happy birthday, Max.
Yes! I'm Joe on the phone, here to show you 4 easy ways to stay safe online. Come on. We can secure our world when you choose your passwords. Make them strong. Use a password manager to help you along. But don't just use a password alone. Get a call, get a text, or a code on your phone.
MFA really works.
We can secure our world. When it's time to update an app, don't you hesitate. Do it ASAP.
Just like that.
Watch out for offers too good to be true.
What?
It's probably someone trying to take advantage of you.
Hey, that's fishy.
Let's report it. Install updates. Make better passwords. Think before you click. Use multiple factors. That's how we can secure our world. Learn more at CISA.gov/secure-our-world.
For each life moment, your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. Your kids may be eligible now, even if you've applied before. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Get started now at insurekidsnow.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
40 minutes down, 20 to go here in Morrisville, North Carolina. Chris Lehman and Nick Perazzi with you and set for the final period of play. 2-1 Kentucky. They'll move left to right in the white uniforms. Here in period number 3, NC State red and black moving right to left. Kentucky shoots it in right off the jump. Go in on the forecheck. Who's behind the goal? Herman there for it. Sends it out in front for Gifford to carry forward. Passes it through the middle. Here's Darlene with speed. Had it, lost it, gets knocked down after he dumps it in. First one to it is Herman. Puck gets stuck. Some of those puddles you were talking about earlier, Nick, early on in the period, particularly around the benches. A little bit soupier.
Yeah, Daniel Prasma also talked about it off air. That was a funky looking shot on goal there.
NC State lost control there. Again, some trouble with some wet ice down in that corner, and Kentucky clears it right on goal. They're changing. NC State with a stretch pass. Roberts couldn't quite connect with Prasma. He gets back to it and can't get the shot away in tight. Kentucky catches a break there. Big hit from Kyler's son, but Kentucky will move forward anyhow. Into the zone. Pass to the middle. The captain, LaRue, unable to find a teammate there. NC State back the other way. Son skates past the puck as it gets stopped up in a puddle again. And Kentucky clears. Yeah, problematic here early. We've seen a couple of pucks get stuck up in puddles.
Yeah, and again, talked to Daniel Prasma off air. He said it's a bit of a problem, and pucks bouncing a good bit as well. Austin Finch talked about it bouncing a little bit in his interview with our Grace Mata in the first intermission.
NC State shoots it in. They've done a good job starting the period with some extra pep in their step. Had some zone time trying to convert it into something. Kentucky back the other way. Nice hit from Labrizzi as he closes off Klingerman. NC State able to clear the zone again, but only momentarily as they fight for it along the blue line. Govea battling there with Jake Lobby. Eventually puck squirts loose for Finch. He'll be bodied up there by Hahn. And Kentucky back in control. Labrizzi redirects it back the other way. Hustle play by Johnson. Reese Johnson looking through the middle for Finch, can't connect. Hoffman has it knocked off his stick. Good stick lift there from Patefield to take the puck away. Here comes Kentucky. Shot through traffic. Oh, that did not miss by much. It's out of play. And a face-off in the NC State zone coming. Here's another look at it.
Yeah, Gabe Rodriguez with the shot, and if we slow it down, watch him wait and wait and wait, trying to draw Pascarosa out of the way there, find a lane, and as he shot, I could hear the Kentucky bench in front of us with a collective gasp there. That was a really nice look from the junior from Oak Park.
Well, over 2 minutes into this third period, NC State controlling off the draw. Thrown off the wall, but not out. Slapped right back in for Roberts to get a block or two. NC State possesses again, but the forecheck in the corner takes it away. Centering pass. Misses everybody. Held in at the line by Uline. Throw it around the wall. Back into the middle. Work it back behind. This is Rodriguez. Turnaround shot. Bodied down by Roberts. He'll hold on to it. And another face-off in the NC State zone.
How about that play from Uline? Keeps the puck in just on the blue line, and then he throws one of those bouncing shots. It's very difficult as a goaltender because one, it can get deflected, and two, you don't know if it's going to take a bad hop or not. It's almost like playing shortstop in baseball, where you don't know if it's going to take a bounce higher than you expect it to, or if it's going to stay lower at any given time.
This time Kentucky wins the draw. Backhanded right in on Roberts, who steers it away. Chopped at, NC State trying to clear. Broken stick as Santangelo holds his own, but he's got to head to the bench to get some new lumber. Kentucky still holding the zone. NC State gets possession. Prasma steps around his man, goes in after the dump in. Has Santangelo there. Santangelo looking for contact. Prasma not afraid of it. Santangelo still in control. At the red line, he'll shoot it in. Kentucky getting some new bodies out on the ice. 3.5 gone here in the third. Still 2-1 visitors. Prasma knocked to the ice at the blue line. Payne picks up the loose puck. He'll carry it in. On the right wing, looking to the middle. It slips under the stick of Gifford. He was surrounded by Wildcats, but he would have had a little bit of time and space to shoot there. Kyler's son takes the hit as he gets across the red line. Gifford with the shot over the net. Herman plays it along. Mason Payne shot deflected on goal. And Allen does a good job controlling the rebound.
And that's what NC State has to keep working on, is getting traffic in front. Watch Gifford right in front. A little bit of deflection, not the greatest deflection on net. Easy save for Riley Allen, but you got to get him moving around. You got to give him looks that he hasn't seen before. Because right now, it's on cruise control in that for Allen.
Patterson on the faceoff for NC State up against Charlie Chinian of Kentucky. Rinaldi in control for NC State on the wall. Taps in front, shot blockered away there by Allen. Labrizzi collects the rebound as it comes up to the blue line. Shot through traffic, deflected on goal, but time enough to react for Riley Allen. And Kentucky ices the puck as they clear. This is a good chance for NC State. This is kind of how the second period started. Of course, NC State took advantage of a power play early on to even up the score. But they're starting to tip the ice in their favor, spent a lot more time in the zone here at the start of this third period than they had throughout the course of this game. Now Patterson tossed from the circle, Connie unable to win the draw. Kentucky, though, gets an awkward carrying off the stanchion. Can't clear. Try again, Delaney stepping forward down the right wing, pestered from behind by Giancani. Dump it deep and go off for a change. So State trying to clear and can't. Connie with it along the wall, no move back. Take off the ball, Labrizzi's breakout pass misses its target. NC State regathers. Kyler Sun trying to step through traffic, has it knocked off his stick. Here's Jake Lobby. Nice poke play by Rinaldi to knock it loose. NC State can get a change as they shoot it deep. Kyler Sun in on the forecheck. No pester Hahn. Forced back behind the Kentucky goal again. Now it's Reese Johnson in there to pressure. Getting some help from Gouveia. It turns into a four-man scrum. Puck is loose along the wall. I don't think anyone saw it there for a moment. Now it comes loose to the middle. Kentucky trying to gather control here. They finally do as Klingerman clears. Off the wall, he finds Lobby. Looking to the middle. His pass shut down. NC State doing a good job there. That was Mason Payne. Now it ends up in the netting and out of play.
A lot of physicality battles there, Chris, obviously against the boards, but even in open ice, a lot of players getting together, a lot of traffic when Kentucky was trying to get the puck back to break out into the neutral and O zone, and then even then, NC State was able to generate some traffic in front of Kentucky players. There was a good opportunity. Nick Hahn crashing in, but unable to find the pass, or unable to find the puck from the pass that he was looking for because of all the traffic NC State initiated in front of the puck.
High up off the draw, Ice Pack win the battle. Here's Darlene. Had it caught up there. Gouveia pitching, unable to get to the puck. Maybe a quick odd man rush for Kentucky. Pass to the middle. Roberts makes the save and holds on in tight. A great chance for Rodriguez. Could have made it 3-1.
Yeah, and it all starts in the D zone from Rodriguez. And they're coming the other way. Ty Patefield with them. That pass just a little bit in his skates. I think a little too fast. Flying in there was Rodriguez, yeah, and it forced him to. But the juniors had a fantastic game for the Wildcats so far. Rodriguez, we've said his name a lot, Chris.
Kentucky wins the draw, shot from the point. Seen through traffic by Roberts. He'll make the save there on the blue line. 14:20 left in this third period. Now Kentucky going to make a change to their forward line. Looks like they'll go with Hazelton, flanked by Grinsky and Bailey. Eli Bailey scored the first goal of the game. It was Klingerman with the difference maker at the moment. Back in the second. NC State has possession. Moving up that near wall. Shut down, though, by Santangelo. Bouncing around out in front. Slapper up into the netting. A little bit of a scary look there for Karinsky that he couldn't put on frame.
Yeah, Karinsky saw that puck. It's one of those moments where your eyes get wide open. Loose bouncing puck with a clear opening with a shot on goal. Let it rip, but it was bouncing a little bit, didn't settle it down. Went for the quick one-timer. And sometimes when you have those opportunities, players just get overly excited and then they shoot it too wide. I think that one, though, more of the case of that puck was bouncing.
Again, NC State able to control off the face-off. Talon Langston up the far side. His shot behind the net. Gilmore collects on the wall. He ducks under a check, pass out into the middle. Payne sweeps it towards goal, but it gets caught up in traffic. Langston back up to the D-man Payne. Another shot through bodies. Wraparound try. Post stuffed by Allen. Beautiful split play by the netminder. Good chance here for NC State. They continue the pressure. Payne pinching down into the corner to disrupt. He finds the loose puck. Looking to the middle, nobody there. And now Santangelo will move it out.
Payne could have went right back to the point there to keep that zone time for NC State, but he kind of just threw it back towards the middle where a couple of Kentucky players had recently collided with each other.
Flip pass ends up on the stick at Darlene, who chases it down. He circles behind. Lost an edge there. Able to keep the puck, though. Finds Prasma. Works back to the blue line. Sun walking, shooting, and standing tall. Allen holds on to the rebound.
Well, Riley Allen finally getting tested. A great wraparound chance earlier. And then this shot from the point. All right, Chris just kind of stood tall, took it into his chest to put the glove up there as well. But here NC State, great looks recently, and they've got to keep that up because they haven't had a lot in total this whole game, but it seems like they're winning a lot of these 50-50 puck battles.
Here's another one. Jansen front and a blocker saved by Allen. That's the 6th shot of the period for NC State. They had 7 in the first and 8 in the second. And less than halfway through this period, they've already got 6. Here's Herman. Sustained pressure still from NC State. Sun. Back down to Herman. High slot. Prasma has time to shoot. And he whistles it wide. Breezy with the rebound off the wall. He'll walk the blue line with it. Trying to square up. He'll take the shot. That didn't get through. Herman knocked to the ice there. He'll get back up. NC State unable to hold the zone, though, as Prasma retreats for it. Play it up the wall. Nobody there except for Delaney for Kentucky. He'll walk in. Sun makes the block. And the second try goes. A backbreaker for NC State. They had such a great start to the period. And then NC State, with a lapse in concentration, allows Delaney to walk through about 4 different players and score.
Talk to the top of the broadcast. Slow start for Delaney. And if you're NC State, you had him on their heels. I don't know if Delaney faked that shot, if it got deflected, came back to him, but it was a nice sneaky little play. But the Ice Pack had Kentucky on their heels. A lot of great chances in front of the net. It seemed like the tide was turning for the Ice Pack. Chris, you said it, 6 or 7 shots in the period for NC State. And then a bounce goes Kentucky's way. Prasma makes an errant pass to nobody at neutral ice, and Kentucky capitalizes on it with ease. And starting to get going now is Nick Delaney.
Well, NC State's task has gotten tougher. 3-1 Kentucky. Off the draw, Patterson wins it for State. Rinaldi to it. They'll drop it back to the defense for Lapani. If you're NC State, that was such a good start. You can't let that happen. Here comes Patterson trying to get it back. He'll shoot it right into the glove of Allen. But those are the kind of shots that NC State has had mostly. And those just are not going to beat Allen.
Well, you've got 11:58 left in this game. You've got another 60 minutes tomorrow night against the Wildcats as well. How are you going to respond after going down 3-1 in the third period? And I think it all starts with this face-off draw and how much zone time NC State can generate if they maintain possession.
Squarosa will send it down below the goal line. NC State trying to get to it. Rinaldi unable to control. Puck squirts across to the far side. Patterson with pressure. Gianconti is there. Connie touching it to the middle. That's intercepted, though, and cleared out by Noel. Squarosa drops it off. Lapani's stretch pass misses Connie. Kentucky sends it back the other way. 11:25 left in the third. 3-1 Kentucky. Pass intended for Patterson misses him and ends up all the way down the ice. There's no timeout for head coach Tim Healy to call here to try and get his team to regroup, but they seem kind of disheveled the way they did after they gave up the second goal in period number 2. That was not the easiest of passes, but was fairly routine as stretch passes go. And they're just not connecting. D-zone draw here. Broken stick on the play. I believe it was an NC State stick. Ice Pack able to clear. Kentucky trying to move it back in. Hahn sends it right in on Roberts. They'll slide it along for Govea. Govea absorbs ahead as he clears the zone. Hahn back to the blue line. Big reverse hit there on NC State's Govea. That was lobby. Well, NC State's gonna have to figure out this physicality. They're trying to be physical, but they are not winning this battle against a much bigger Kentucky team. Here's Johnson stepping in, trying to get around the defenseman. Can't take the puck with him. There to help. Govea steers it on goal, but it's handled by Allen. And Kentucky back the other way. LaRue pass to the middle. A little bit long for his teammate. NC State will take control. Forward for Govea and another just flat-out mistake there on the play for NC State to ice the puck. And they needed to get some bodies off there. They can't get them off.
No, they can. And right now, I think this building just does not have a lot of life in it. Not on the NC State bench, not in the crowd. Kentucky's got all of it, Chris. And it just seems like NC State doesn't have the energy tonight that matches Kentucky. And I think that's the biggest reason why they're down 3-1. It just seems like they haven't been playing with that jump. It seems like Kentucky for most of the game has had a much better jump to the puck, much better physicality. They brought a lot more energy, and I think that's the biggest difference maker right now.
Gilmore picks up speed behind his own net. He'll weave through the neutral zone, steps straight through the middle into the high slot, has his shot sticked away by Karinsky. It'll come off the back wall and be covered up by Riley Allen.
Well, we talked about it in the second intermission, Chris. NC State needs something to get momentum. Now, I don't want to harp on the energy too much right now, but there hasn't really been much they could build off of. The opportunity that they had in front was a great opportunity to build momentum off of. But then Kentucky goes. They did. They did, but then Kentucky took it right away, right as NC State was turning that tide. They were getting to that next page, if you will. And then Kentucky took it away, and it was Nick Delaney scoring.
Puck one into the corner there by Chinian. NC State's Kaufman gets to it first, though. Pitching in Darlene. Looks to the middle. Nobody there. Kaufman stepping in, but can't hold the line against Delaney. Clear it out. Payne after it for NC State. Under some pressure from Yell to get away from that. Cross-ice pass, though, caught up in the skates of Delaney, and now Kentucky enters offside. But nothing connecting right now for NC State, it feels like.
No, not even the Wolfpack chant. Frigid Sound trying to get it going. The crowd's not really responding well to it, but back to the ice. And again, Chris, we've seen a lot of times tonight, NC State, neutral ice, trying to get a pass off and either throw it to nobody, or Kentucky's right in that passing lane for an easy interception and going the other way with it.
There's still time, 9.5 minutes to go. One bounce could make it a one-goal game, and it feels a lot different. Sent right in on Roberts. He'll paddle it down. Son for Kaufman, laid off the wall. Gilmore has some pace. He'll try to step in. Delaney knocks him off the puck. Gilmore back to it. Dropped off for Son. He'll play it off the wall. Kaufman now in control along the hashes. Knocked to the ice there. Physical play made by Supan to take it away. Labreezy's shot is blocked. Sliding effort there from Macklin Yell, who heads to the bench with a little bit of a stinger.
I think he took that right in the knee. Worst part to take it almost, other than the ankle.
Krasma floats it out in front. It deflects back to Son. Fakes the shot. Now he shoots. Hits a skate and doesn't get through. Kentucky to the rebound, but a pinching Labreezy takes it away, and a penalty coming up as Kaufman is tangled up with
that. Another player go down in front. Prasma let his emotions get the best of it, and there's still some pushing and shoving going on right in front of the net. I believe that's Ty Hayfield.
They're going to take two from in front. Prasma's going as well as a Kentucky player. We might also see Kaufman going as well as Supan. I think they both are. So we're going to have four guys in the box here.
And now Langston getting at Patefield is initiating a lot of this.
Oh, we didn't see this for NC State the last couple of weekends. They are much more frustrated this game than they have been in the prior couple of weekends. And they're going to have to recompose themselves if they want to try and turn things around here in the last 8:39.
You're going to be without one of your best goal scorers in Daniel Prasma and one of your best playmakers in Holden Kaufman. In the box for Kentucky, Ty Patefield, or excuse me, it's going to be Ty Patefield. I believe the other one is Nick Hahn, and it is. And here's the action after play with Patefield. He got shoved from Prasma from behind, then he went after Langston a little bit, and then right here, wasn't letting Langston go. A lot of jawing going at it. Langston just would not let up. He's down in the box, though, for NC State. But we talked about mentality, talked about keeping your cool during that intermission, and two of NC State's best players just let it get the best of them there.
Yeah, and this is going to make for an interesting one tomorrow night. It's going to be a late night here at Invisalign Arena. Game scheduled for a 10:45 puck drop, so we'd be about 5 minutes into the game at this time tomorrow night.
Gives everybody plenty of time, though, maybe to cool off. Gives a lot of the fans time to come from Carter Finley Stadium North over in Durham if they're going to the football game to get here to Invisalign Arena.
I'd say Wallace Wade's a little more west than it is.
That's what the Twitter folks are out there are calling it. I do know Carter Finley West is Keenan. You know, Carter Finley Far West is a legacy. But 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. You know, a lot of space is going to be open. No Daniel Prasma, though, for NC State, and that's where he excels the best, is on these open ice scenarios.
Shot right off the draw from Mason Payne as Herman won the faceoff for NC State. Kentucky gets to the loose puck, can't clear as Herman swats it back deep. Gifford in after it. He'll put some pressure on Santangelo behind the net. Swept back behind the goal now for Boyajin. And Boyajin will slow things down. 4 players in the penalty box for these two teams.
Interesting to hear both Kentucky players' embellishment, and then Kaufman, the cross-check there.
Kentucky looking to move out of the zone. Advanced by Lobby. Taken away by Herman. Looking for Gifford. They can't connect. NC State gonna have to regroup here. Gifford retreating with it. Turning on a dime, trying to escape Patefield. Just won't leave him alone. Halfway through the 4-on-4. It's a great time for NC State with extra space to try and capitalize. Haven't been able to do so far. Pass stretch forward for Connie is intercepted. Back to work for Kentucky. The goal line. Payne trying to take it away and can't. Kentucky controlling the zone. Deflection right in front of Roberts. He makes the save and then steers away the rebound. Sun directs it back behind the goal. Govea trying to escape with some speed. He'll step through the middle. We got more whistles behind the play. Mason Payne going to be called for interference. And this is the undisciplined nature that we saw last year from this team that we don't want to see this year.
No, this is not what you want to see. And again, it's in the 3rd period, similar to last year. 2 minutes for interference on Mason Payne, number 12, behind the play. Gonna knock the helmet off there on Ty Patefield. Good look from our camera there at ice level, but started to unravel here for NC State. 7:04 to go, still plenty of time in this game, but still only 26 seconds left of what's now going to be 4-on-3, and then Kentucky on the power play where they haven't looked the greatest, but with open ice right now, this could be where they turn the tide on the man advantage.
4-on-3, 26 seconds feels a lot longer than 5-on-4 of 26 seconds. NC State able to clear. It's still going to be a full 2-minute man advantage for Kentucky, assuming we don't see any other infractions. Delaney trying to step into the zone. It's chipped into the NC State bench, and the faceoff comes out into the neutral zone.
Well, with only 10 seconds left of this, you don't really work a lot on the 4-on-3 penalty kill. You hope you don't get to that point. You know, the only other time you may see this is, of course, in overtime with a power play, but it's something you don't really get too many reps on in practice.
Again, NC State able to keep this in neutral ice. That will bleed off a little bit more clock, as it's now 5-on-4 with Prasma coming back to the ice along with Hahn. 6.5 to go in the game. Knocked to the ice, Santangelo dumps it in. NC State to it, they'll look to clear and do so successfully. Darlene sends it the length of the ice.
And Kaufman and Supan are going to come out on the next whistle. Their penalties have expired, but because you can't have more than 6 players out in the ice, got to keep the man advantage. They got to wait.
Stepping around the hit and moving in for the Wildcats is Ulan. Around the wall. Kentucky trying to set up a little over halfway through the power play. Around the wall, that misses a couple of Wildcats. Uline and Patefield couldn't get to it. That will kill some more clock. There's Nick Hahn. Steps around Kyler Sun on a chip and chase. He gets to it in the corner. Langston knocks him off the puck. We'll cue it along in camp. Floating back out the blue line. Shot through traffic to deflected wide. Good chance there for Rodriguez. And now we got a penalty on Kentucky as Kyler's son ends up on the ice. Nick Hahn not happy about it. It'll be 4-on-4 for 21 seconds. That'll finish off the power play for Kentucky. Who's going to look at it.
He's holding his stick the whole way, dragging Son a little bit there, and they're not happy about it. And that's 2 straight penalties. Oh! They're going to take Son as well here, Chris.
That'll be a holding on Son and a cross-check on Hahn.
We've seen...
So it'll stay 5-on-4.
Now, those 2 players have been in it at the most in terms of extracurriculars, if you will, especially Son for NC State. First time he's in the box. Hahn, who just got out, he's complaining about it, asking why he got a penalty. Pleading now to his bench next to him about what he did, but still 21 seconds left of the man advantage for Kentucky.
That's the 6th penalty called in a little over 3 minutes of play. See if these 2 teams can settle it down here for the final 5:25. Still 21 seconds of power play time with NC State's Mason Payne in the box for interference. Kentucky wins in control. Santangelo through traffic. It deflects in front of Roberts. NC State cleans up the rebound. Kentucky able to hold possession. Santangelo again walking the line. Slides it across to the far side. Delaney, rink wide. Almost out of time on the power play. Santangelo has space to step in. Shot wide. Power play over. Krasma back on the ice. 5 minutes left in this one. Delaney stepping through traffic. Moves it across to the near side. That's Lobby. So knocked off his stick. Krasma forward. And connect with Johnson and Kent. Lobby back in tight. Backhand try off the side of the goal. He gets it back. NC State able to take it away. Outlet pass for Krasma. He's going to be hit. Easy call on the captain of Kentucky. That's interference. Puck was well passed. And there was no reason for that hip check hit to continue. Get another look at it here. Easy call for the official. 7th penalty since those 4 penalties called altogether at the 8:39 mark. And now a crucial power play for NC State.
And that's the captain, Mark LaRue, taking that penalty. And that's the last thing you want to do if you're Kentucky right now is give NC State some momentum, something to build off of. They are 1 for 2 on the power play tonight. Kentucky now 0 for 3 on their power play, but this has been a dangerous group to start the season for the boys in red.
Krasma under pressure, gets it deep for Herman. Turn to Krasma in the corner. He's pinned to the wall. Nice lead by Patefield. NC State still in control. Govea down the wall. Can't connect with Krasma. Swept around, and it's poked out by the Kentucky penalty kill. Rodriguez with the final touch there. NC State got possession in the zone. No shots yet on the power play. 1.5 left on the man advantage. Krasma looking to the middle for Herman. That's disrupted, and a big hit behind the play as the puck deflects into the Kentucky bench, and that was a crunch on Kentucky's Dylan Uline. You get another look at it here. Herman with a cross-check there probably, and cross-checked him right into another ice pack player. NC State will stay on the man advantage. 1:21 left on the power play as the face-off won by Chinian. Ice pack trying to hold the zone. They'll overload that far wall. Kentucky able to poke it loose and get to it. Shot straight up the middle. Krasma does a nice job bodying it down and keeping it in the offensive end. He'll walk it in. Down low, Herman, give and go. Krasma skate to stick. Oh, a great save by Allen, and Kentucky clears. Beautiful play by Krasma to get the opportunity, and equal to the task is Riley Allen. Now a forecheck from Chinian. Put some pressure on the NC State power play in their own end. Johnson comes away with a loose puck. Chinian tangled up there with Labrizzi. Play will continue. Herman looking to the middle. Back for Johnson. His shot fought off by Allen. Turnaround shot. They score! Off a body and in. No celebration from Herman as he knows they need another, but a power play goal makes it 3-2.
Well, that's a statement from the captain there. Job's not finished. Just trying to cook a pinball effect. Johnson fanned, Herman cleaned it up. I don't know if that went off of holding Kaufman or not, or a defender in front. but it's down to a 1-goal game. NC State 2 for 3 on the power play now. They got advantage with a player down. Chinian on the other end. Great look here from our behind the net cam. Maybe not. I can't tell if that went off of Gabe Rodriguez or not. We'll get an official word from Wade Minter, the PA announcer, but 3 minutes to go. Time to look for when Ethan Roberts leaves the net.
NC State has started to get back to their ways. That power play certainly helped. We'll see what they can do 5-on-5. Gilmore pressuring Hahn there into the corner. Clearance knocked down by Langston. Stuck to the wall. Kaufman now has it knocked loose. There's Lobby trying to power his way out. Kaufman's pressure, though, knocks the puck into the middle. Here's Gilmore, high slot holding. He gets knocked down as Kentucky has the manpower there to clear the puck. NC State will go back after it.
2:25 to go. It's time to officially start looking at Ethan Roberts. NC State got to get the puck, maintain possession, assuming a dump and chase could bring him out.
Fanning on the dump and Langston loses it. Down goes Lobby. He's going to hold a leg as he's slow to get up. Kentucky wanted a penalty and didn't get it. Herman stepping in, got held up, so he'll have to retreat in the neutral zone. Moved along for Prasma. Steps through pressure, and NC State's offside.
Now Roberts was skating towards the net there. Do you want to look at this little potential trip here? It looks like their feet got tangled up there. From up here, it looked like he tripped over a stick.
It's close to knee-on-knee contact. I think that's another one. We talked about Kentucky early in the game getting away with plays like that. Now it's
NC State getting away with a cross-check.
With a couple of them here late. And you can see the Kentucky bench wants a conversation here. And you understand the conversation here. Knee-on-knee hits are incredibly dangerous. And I'm not sure who the NC State player was there. I wouldn't say there was intention to do that. But if it is a knee-on-knee contact like that, if you're a coach, you're going to protect your players.
And they've called a lot this period, and they didn't call the cross-check on Herman. They're not going to call that. Interesting whistle here in the third, in my opinion.
Keep an eye on Roberts now. Under 2 minutes to go in a 1-goal game. Puck tied up in the neutral zone. It'll be shoveled in by Eli Bailey, who broke the ice in the first period.
Remember, no timeout for NC State. They used it in the second period.
Stretch things out. Herman with a touch pass. That doesn't connect. He pokes it further, but can't get back to it. Bailey again. Lays it off the wall and deep. Kentucky going to be able to get to it and negate any potential for icing. NC State again trying to break out. Swept right back in by Kentucky's Gabriel Rodriguez. Shot from the high slot, blocker down by Roberts. NC State collects. Just over a minute left in the period. Ice Pack need one to extend the game. 3-2 Kentucky. Here in the first of 2 games this weekend at Invisalign Arena.
They can't win the neutral zone right now, Chris, because they have to dump this puck. There's a minute left. Roberts still in the net. He has not had the opportunity to get off the ice.
Kentucky keeping bodies back at neutral ice. They're not giving NC State the space. Kaufman
there he
chips
goes.
It in. Roberts heads to the bench. Kaufman in on the forecheck, tried to shovel it around. It's stuck behind the goal. Prasma takes it away. Back out, looking for Payne. Wasn't ready for it through traffic, and NC State has to get back out. Kyler Sun under some pressure in front of his own net. He'll loop around. Has space through the neutral zone, finds Prasma on the left side. 30 seconds to go as he enters the zone. He'll be stuck to the wall. It's thrown the length of the ice and wide. NC State racing after it. And icing called with 24.7 left.
It's a bit of a break for NC State. Prasma jawing at the bench right now. He's got to watch himself. Gets a tug from the official as well. There's still 24 seconds left in this game. You don't want to take a silly penalty, but that's a big icing for NC State. They had a lot of tired bodies out there. Prasma was showing it. A couple other guys as well. They got to go. Or Kentucky calling timeout here, Chris. I'm a little bit surprised considering that NC State just took their top forwards off the ice. But it might be just, I was going to say, they might be wanting to rest those defenders, get everybody on the same page. Look, if you win the faceoff, take a slow dump or just eat it up in the corner.
When you look at who's on the ice for NC State, assuming with the timeout they stick with the same and don't go back to that Herman line, but you've still got Govea, Kaufman, Finch out there. Gilmore looks like he's on the ice as well. He's been flying around this period. This is a deeper NC State team. When these two teams played 2 years ago, if they had this scenario, you might not have seen Kentucky call the timeout. They might have felt better against a slightly shallower team in terms of depth when it comes to NC State. But there's more firepower out there. And I think if you're Kentucky, you want to keep these guys rested. They're your top guys anyhow. They were out best on best to start the 6-on-5. And now they're going to get a chance to follow through. 24.7 seconds left. Kentucky with a 3-2 lead. Trying to make it 3 in a row against Triangle area teams. They swept 2 against Kentucky at home, or against North Carolina at home last weekend.
It's going to be that second line, Chris. Although Prasma out there as well as that extra forward. Herman as well. It's all forwards. It's all forwards out there for NC State minus Darlene. He's the only defenseman out there.
The most offensive defenseman that NC State has.
Could be a quick shot off the draw as well if NC State wins. If you're Kentucky, just get it against the wall and eat the rest of this clock away.
Kaufman against Chinian to the wall. Prasma sweeps it high of the goal. It's going to ring the boards. Getting to it, Herman holds the line. Down to the hashes, Gifford into the middle. Loose puck, wide open net, they scored! Oh, right there was Darlene. He ties the game with 15 seconds to go. Oh, a mistake from Kentucky. And we're not done yet.
Well, and you give NC State their top line to get some rest, their top defenseman as well. A beautiful pass from Reese Johnson. Took that out of his brother's book right there as well. And you said it, Chris. Only defenseman out there, Rasmus Dahlin, the most offensive defenseman the Ice Pack have. Crashes hard to the net, and with 15 seconds left, Kentucky has now given up back-to-back goals to the Ice Pack in the span of just about 7 minutes to give the Ice Pack and Wildcats a tie game.
Tied up in the middle of the ice. Lobby trying to force his way in and give Kentucky one last chance. Roberts shields off the shot with a blocker, 4 seconds left. Slapper in on Roberts, he'll hold it up again with 1.6 seconds to go. But the frigid sound leading that chant against goaltender Riley Allen. They say it's all his fault, and that's the tradition. But he got kind of hosed by a mistake from his own defense that poked that puck loose and left the net wide open.
1 second left though, face off right to Supan for a shot. Don't get it though. And Chris, overtime. We had what, 6-7 of those last year. We've got our second one already in 3 home games. We've had a lot of treats here at Invisalign Arena, Chris. What a comeback from the Ice Pack. And I think this comeback all starts with the penalty from Mark LaRue. No need to make that interference penalty at center ice with exactly 4:32 to go. NC State capitalized shortly after on the power play. All of these goals have come in about 3 minutes apart. I said about 7 minutes. That's actually a lot less. Didn't realize when Herman got that goal. It was just that mentality from Herman after that goal, too. Like I said, job's not finished. Job finished. I think it's Kobe Bryant quote.
I think if you're NC State here, pedal to the metal. Kentucky is reeling with about 3 minutes left in the game. They had a 3-1 lead. And then with 15 seconds left in the game, NC State able to tie it. And as we mentioned, just on a Kentucky mistake, you're trying to clear it out. Unfortunately, the clear ends up right in front of your goal with a gaping 4x6, and Darlene was right there to put it home. So if you're NC State, you want to take advantage of what could be a little bit of a flustered Kentucky team. 5 minutes on the clock. It's 3-on-3 sudden death. If we don't have a goal in those 5 minutes of 3-on-3, we go to a shootout, best of 3. And of course, as we've mentioned in the past, if you take a penalty in the final 2 minutes of overtime and you're in the box, when overtime ends and it goes to a shootout, you are not eligible to shoot.
I've got my eyes on Keegan Gilmore for NC State, and I'm going to go with Ty Patefield for Kentucky. Those are the two you got to look out for here in overtime, Chris.
NC State's going to go 1 forward, 2 defensemen. Kaufman, Sun, Labrizi for NC State. The centerman for Kentucky is Patefield. He's out there with the defenseman Anthony Santangelo, as well as Gabriel Rodriguez. Rodriguez out in front, it hops the stick of Patefield. Could have had a chance in tight. 30 seconds gone in overtime. Puck poked loose. Labrizi gets to it for the Pack.
I think they got this group out there right now, Chris, because all of their star forwards were just out there for a long, long time to get that tying goal. Overtime's all about puck possession, and we definitely saw that 2 weeks ago with that thrilling finish against the Ice Dogs.
Here's Prasma with speed, trying to step around Lobby, and does. He's moving in, trying to sweep to the middle, but Lobby does a good enough job disrupting. Now Patefield back the other way. Breezy retreating, trying to cover the middle. Will do a good job of that. And NC State is back in control.
Great defense there from Kyler's son coming across as well. I believe that was Jake Lobby. And Payfield never saw him. LaRue just skated right into Son.
NC State moves back out. Prasma has Herman coming down the right wing. Pickpocketed, but loose puck ends up on the stick of Darlene. Now Herman in the middle. He scored the overtime goal a couple weekends ago. Tried to thread a pass through for Darlene, and it's stolen away. Kentucky back the other direction. Here's Lobby. Pokes it through the legs of Prasma. Can't get back to the loose puck. Herman steps away from contact from LaRue. Sweeps it up the wall. Allowing it to exit the zone is Supan. Now Kentucky can set up again. 3:15 left in overtime. NC State will get some fresh legs out there. Gifford and Payne now out there with Herman. Move forward and into the zone by the Wildcats. Noel doesn't like what he sees. He'll back it out. It's been a fairly calm overtime so far. Not a lot doing offensively for either side. Now some speed moving forward. Hazelton, shot pad save made by Roberts. It'll trickle back in on goal, and he has no choice but to cover it.
Oh, he's trying to play that out, but the ref saw him cover it, and he pump faked that first, forcing him to blow that whistle. It's all about possession, and it's all about open ice and taking advantage of it. Good little juicy rebound, and Roberts kind of spread his legs a little bit there, but he's able to make the play with the glove in front. NC State going back with that first group, two defensemen, Darlene and Labrizzi, centered by Govea.
Face-off won by Patefield. Kentucky will control. Santangelo walking the blue line. Govea marking him. Now Darlene pestering Rodriguez, who turns away from the pressure. He'll loop behind the net. Decides to go back out for Patefield, who just retreats into the neutral zone.
Kentucky trying to set something up, or maybe a set play here.
Santangelo into the zone. Working on Darlene. Drops it off. Rodriguez, back to Patefield. He'll play it down low. Labrizzi first to it. There's some pressure there, but able to skate away from it. NC State back the other way. Forward Govea, he's got Labrizzi with him. Shot right into the crest on the Kentucky uniform of Riley Allen. NC State will get a nose-zone draw here.
Oh, I said it earlier, overtime's all about puck possession. And before this last rush for NC State, Gabe Rodriguez was looking for a one-timer on that stick side of Roberts, but he fell down. He lost his footing. That's why that puck went behind the net and allowed Labrizzi to gain possession and give NC State possession.
Kaufman on the face-off for NC State, but it'll be LaRue winning the draw for the Cats. Trading behind the net, Supan will set up the breakout. Kaufman out there with Reese Johnson and Cooler's son. Poked out of the zone by Son. Kentucky still in possession. Supan. 1:40 left in overtime. Kentucky has controlled possession for the majority of this overtime period, and now a chance for the captain LaRue. His shot right into the gut of Roberts, who can't hold on to the rebound. Still loose out in front. Supan's turnaround shot is wide, and now Roberts, who is scrambling, able to regroup. Kentucky still has possession. Supan across for Lobby. Kaufman on him. Lobby back to Supan. 1:18 left. Lobby again. LaRue knocks his man down in front of the net. Play will continue. Supan again. Lobby fakes the shot, walking in, slides it in front, nobody there. NC State back the other way, but Kaufman loses an edge, and NC State could have had a breakaway there.
I think he tripped over Reese Johnson. This group for NC State has been out there for at least 2 minutes now, Chris. 50 seconds to go. They finally got to go with the line change.
Herman, Prasma, Darlene for NC State. Pass forward will be collected by Jack Noel. Noel out there with Hazelton. Now Hahn, a fresh defenseman, onto the ice as well. Prasma getting to the loose puck. He's got Herman with him, but Kentucky is back. Feathered forward. NC State can't control. Darlene wins the race to the puck in the neutral zone. He's going to carry it forward with speed. Poked off his stick. Moved forward now. Patefield on the breakaway after the turnover. Blocker save made by Roberts. 16 seconds left. Here's Hahn stepping out in front. Walks past Darlene but can't get in front. Looking out to the middle. NC State takes over. 8 seconds to go. Herman moving with speed. Walking in. 5 seconds to go. Zach Herman to the net. Oh, a big save by Allen, and he will cover it up.
We got action
runs
behind.
out, and now we've got a brawl behind the net. as Darlene taken down.
We got
and the
punches, Chris.
Wildcats
We got
are there.
punches. We have huge punches being thrown from Nick Hahn right now behind the net. All 3 players are down on the ice behind the goal, and I don't think any of these players are going to be able to participate in the shootout, and that is huge for both teams.
I'm not sure what exactly drew that reaction. I'm sure NC State was right in there on Allen trying to take the puck, but
the only player not
I'll tell you, you got to be
Herman.
careful if you're Nick Hahn. You know, we talked about in the pregame, Nick Hahn on the back end is a leader. As you mentioned, he was pulling way back and throwing punches into that pile. If somebody wants to review that, he might not be in the lineup tomorrow.
No, it starts.
Let's take a look
It
again.
starts behind the plane. Darlene gets a lot of shoves to the face from Rodriguez.
With a little bit of a pop there.
Yeah.
And then that's a 2-on-1.
Hahn's in the box.
You've got Rodriguez and Hahn both on top of Darlene. Prasma's going to get a penalty going in to defend his player, which you expect as well.
Looked like Hahn nearly got a piece of the ref. Be interested to see the view from behind the net.
The one thing Kentucky's going to get lucky with here is there's no time left in overtime.
No, but I think
you're
still
getting a good look.
sent.
There was a good look at one of the punches thrown by Hahn. And that's a lack of emotional control.
Yeah, because now
you
Kentucky,
gotta stay under control.
All 3 players for the Wildcats are in the box. 2 for NC State. The only one on the ice that did not take a penalty there was Zach Herman. He was just sitting at the blue line watching it all unfold.
I mean, we had punches over top of linesmen.
Yeah.
I would be a little bit surprised if we're looking at the same lineup tomorrow.
Well, for now in overtime, not allowed to participate in the entirety of overtime. For Kentucky, it's going to be Nick Hahn, it's going to be Ty Patefield, and I believe the other one might be Gabe Rodriguez or Charlie Chinney. I can't tell from this angle. Stanchion blocking the number. But for NC State, Rasmus Dahlin, and the big one for the Ice Pack, Daniel Prasma, not allowed to participate in the shootout.
The Kentucky coaching staff has a list of numbers on a sheet of paper. I can't quite read out the numbers, but they're going to have to make some changes.
Yeah, they're pointing at a specific
Patefield,
number.
as well as Hahn, as well as Rodriguez, all being sent to the locker room. Dahlin and Prasma will be given the same.
I mean, and we've got some words.
Somebody who shouldn't be behind
someone
the
that's not playing is saying a lot of words to
and
NC
needs
State.
to leave.
There's a fan back there, and then a Kentucky player is jawing at him. This is ugly, Chris.
Hopefully we'll be able to get to the shootout here, but this is an ugly way to finish what has been a fantastic ending to this game from a hockey standpoint. But it's going to make things interesting. As you mentioned, you got a couple players that have been sent off for Kentucky that you would think would be options in the shootout. Prasma, Dahlin, as we've talked about, has the skill as well. Those are 2 options for NC State in the shootout that will no longer be options. But the other thing is, and it's a shootout, so you're one-on-one. It's a little bit different. But emotions are still going to run high for these players, and you can't let that affect the shootout.
And there's another 60 minutes to be played tomorrow, starting late at night at 10:45. And there's a big conversation between all the refs. Nick Labrizzi out there. It's 5 minutes disqualification. That's what I overheard from Wade Minter on the PA mic.
And I would not be
couple
surprised
fights as
if
well.
we see at least a player aside not in the lineup tomorrow.
And maybe even more with coaches deciding, hey, for what you did last night, even though the league's not going to do anything.
Who was in the box on both sides. I think if those players are available to play, they'll be in the lineup.
Yeah.
They're all impactful
that is
players,
true.
and that's one of the things that makes this a big deal going into tomorrow. We'll see how things shake out. But that was one of the more aggressive confrontations, we'll call it, that we've seen in the last few years.
And I don't think we've seen
after a play
something that aggressive in a while. And I think Kentucky is telling the refs now their shootout lineup. I think we're finally set to get on our way. I mean, that was chaotic, Chris. Just on the ice, off the ice as well. It just was an ugly scene here for everybody involved. And now Tim Healy's talking to one of the
I think what he's
coaches
doing
from Kentucky.
is apologizing for whatever happened behind the bench.
I don't know what happened.
And they're gonna talk about talk a little bit about that, and I would assume that's what that was about, because there was definitely someone back behind the benches area. They usually do a pretty good job, and there is a partition there to divide the fans and the staff in this area. But unfortunately, somebody was back there. So ready for the shootout. Best of 3. Jake Lobby for Kentucky will take the first. Weaving in on Roberts. Fakes, save Roberts. Was a good initial move from Lobby and a nice job by Roberts to recover.
Yeah, he took him off his line, goes all the way to the left and comes back to the middle. Fake deke, nice little move back to the left side. That's his strong side, but Roberts stands tall. He's done a really good job at that. How about this? Nick Labrisi, the D-man, shooting first for NC State.
Got a chance to give NC State the lead here in the shootout. Back and forth on the way in. Shoots and scores. Quick release from Labrisi. NC State takes the lead after round 1.
Well, he goes from left, then he goes way right. Something similar to what TJ Oshie used to do, especially for the Olympic team. Get the goalie off his line, see what he does way far out, and then attack once you realize what he's doing.
Here's Preston Hazelton. Kentucky really needs one here. Hazelton threads the needle and scores. He opened up Roberts and snuck it through. 1-1.
Oh, Superman across the chest for him. This is a really sneaky one. Came with a lot of speed. Oh, he just kind of 5-holed Roberts there. And a little sneaky shot. Caught him by surprise. It's now Reese Johnson's turn.
Johnson trying to make it 2 for 2 here for NC State. A little more direct line to the net. Stopped by the goaltender, Allen. Not much to that move. He made it a little easy on the goaltender.
I was going to say, he's looking to snipe one, but when you're in a shootout situation, it's so hard to just go straight at the goalie and try it. You've got to get him off his line a little bit, get him a little uncomfortable. Now for Kentucky, it's the captain, Mark LaRue. We're knotted at 1, hitting that 3rd frame.
Well, LaRue took that penalty that started the NC State comeback. He'll be looking for some redemption here. Shootouts 1-1 going to the 3rd round. Nothing doing. Similar to that last shootout attempt from NC State.
Yeah, I didn't like it, Chris. He goes right, and then I think he's trying to get that 5-hole, but it's right to the glove. Fake that shot, maybe go to the left side, but I think LaRue just got too close, and I think he might have realized that, but the captain, he could finish it.
1-1 in the shootout. Herman scores, NC State wins. Tried to float it by Allen, and he stood tall.
Now, I think Herman might have shot that just a bit early, or he expecting Allen to come back. Take one more look at it. Now, he expected Allen to come back, and he did not stay tall. Now it's sudden death.
Nick Delaney will go round by round now.
It's got to be new players still.
Delaney slowly in. Stopped by Roberts. For the last few, we haven't seen
a lot of movement.
Much challenge for the goaltenders.
Which is very interesting. The first 4 to start the shootout have really had a lot of movement. Right on in front of Roberts. Not a lot of great shots. Here's Jake Gifford for NC State. He's got a chance to win it again. It goes frame by frame now. You win the frame, you win the game.
He'll come down the left side. Holding and scores! Backhand finish. NC State in a shootout. Another big win for NC State and a gutsy win. They were down 3-1 with a little over 3 minutes to go. They took advantage of the penalty on the captain, Mark LaRue. Made it 3-2 them, and with the net empty, it was Darlene finding the empty net on a miscue from Kentucky. And of course, Roberts stands tall in the shootout, and there's the winner.
Yeah, Gifford, a lot of speed. Coming in from the left on the stick side, and then he's gonna beat him on the glove side backhand. Oh, what a tight window underneath the glove and above that left pad. Allen did everything he could. Got to give your hats off to both goalies, Chris, especially in those shootouts and late in the game. They did everything they can, but in the end, Jake Gifford wins it for the Ice Pack, a sophomore, Chris. with ice in his veins. Also got to give a lot of credit to Ethan Roberts. Again, late in that overtime period, very similar to 2 weeks ago against Georgia. He's got ice in his veins in the net, Roberts. Put up a fantastic third period, overtime, and shootout.
Well, before the season started, the coaching staff had high praise for Ethan Roberts and what he could be for this team as an anchor back there in the net. And you saw that last weekend against Liberty, even though neither of those were winning results. And you see it again tonight as he comes up with a couple of really big saves on the in the shootout and helps NC State to a win over Kentucky. But things are going to get interesting tomorrow as it got spicy.
Yeah, there was a meeting at center ice for a decent bit there between both head coaches, Tim Healy and Kentucky Wildcats head coach Tim Pergram. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see players missing out of the lineup, Chris, tomorrow night. I mean, it was very ugly in that third period. We did see punches throw, but we'd be interested to see if the league reviews anything. It's a quick turnaround. Obviously, late puck drop tomorrow, but got to play these guys again if you're from either side with a lot of hatred now towards each other and a lot of physicality, too.
Well, this game was pretty much everything we expected and then some. NC State, a late comeback. 2 goals in the final 3 minutes and change to tie things up. Then they end up finishing it off with a shootout win. Roberts stands tall, Giffords with the winner, and it's NC State coming out on top. Well, post-game coverage coming up after this.
I would never show my teeth. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's gonna take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Locally owned and operated by an NC State graduate, the Red and White Shop is your source for all things NC State. Just off campus in the Ridgewood Shopping Center at 3526 Wade Avenue, the Red and White Shop has everything the NC State fan needs. Sporting goods and memorabilia, your favorite NC State team apparel, tailgating essentials, Ice Pack gear. A proud sponsor of the NC State hockey team, a percentage of all Ice Pack sales go back to the team. Stop by today or visit us online. The Red and White Shop.
Why are sandwiches so much better hot?
I don't know. Why does everyone love summer or hot gossip? Hotter is just better.
Oh, don't forget about hot ovens or hot peppers.
Hot springs, hot chocolate.
Hot sandwiches.
Ooh.
Hot soup, hot air balloons. Hot yoga.
I get it. Hotter is better.
Or hot melted cheese.
Sorry.
Potbelly, we bring the hot.
Happy birthday, Max.
Yes! I'm Joe on the phone, here to show you 4 easy ways to stay safe online. Come on. We can secure our world when you choose your passwords. Make them strong. Use a password manager to help you along. But don't just use a password alone. Get a call, get a text, or a code on your phone.
MFA really works.
We can secure our world. When it's time to update an app, don't you hesitate. Do it ASAP.
Just like that.
Watch out for offers too good to be true. What? It's probably someone trying to take advantage of you.
Hey, that's fishy.
Let's report it. Install updates. Make better passwords. Think before you click. Use multiple factors. That's how we can secure our world. Learn more at CISA.gov/secure-our-world.
For each life moment, your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. Your kids may be eligible now, even if you've applied before. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Get started now at insurekidsnow.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty, I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
What a game here at Invisalign Arena, and it's only the first of 2 this weekend. NC State in a shootout, winners over Kentucky as they come back in the final minutes. Chris Lehman, Nick Perazzi with you. And Nick, What a finish to that game.
There's that popular meme online, Chris. Absolute cinema. That's what the entire game was. We had fireworks at the end of it. We had an insane comeback. You know, Kentucky controlled about 55 minutes of this game, but NC State controlled the last 5. Kentucky controlled the next 5 in overtime, but without any clock. You know, it was a bit of a shaky shootout for both sides, but Gifford with the winner. If you're NC State, that's a gutsy win, and that's a huge win, especially this early in the season, that you could build off of.
Absolutely, and we're going to talk to him shortly. The goaltender, Ethan Roberts, had a great weekend last weekend without the result. He got some help from his team this weekend as NC State was able to get the win for him. What a game from the first-year goaltender for NC State. Not a freshman, but his first year here with the Pack.
Yeah, played NCAA D3. I'm going to mispronounce the college. I believe it's Eau Claire.
Eau Claire.
Eau Claire. I kept messing it off there. That's on me. I apologize to everybody that goes to school there. But, I mean, what kind of clutch gene does he have? The immaculate 2 saves he had against Georgia in overtime 2 weeks ago. The big saves he had last week up at Lehigh Ice Center against Liberty, where he only allowed 1, or I should say allowed, 5 goals on, 89 shots in those 2 games? And then how about tonight? A huge save in the 3rd period. Another big one in overtime. And then in the shootout, just gave up 1, made a couple of spectacular saves there as well.
I think if you're NC State, you really like the way you were able to regroup in the 3rd period. We talked about it. They kind of got away from their game a little bit. They fell back a bit into that habit of being a little undisciplined, but they were able to regroup. They didn't let it go. And one thing I heard is they were coming up from finishing this game up. There's something their captain said. It's a 60-minute game, boys. And that's exactly right. It took to the final 15 seconds for them to tie it up, but that's why you play to the final buzzer.
You can't let your foot off the gas. You can't. It's supposed to be all gas, no brakes, 24/7, all 60 minutes of the hockey game. And I think at Kentucky, that penalty that LaRue took, your captain taking that penalty at center ice with 4 minutes to go, you're up by 2, but NC State already scored on the power play. Horman scores, doesn't celebrate, locked in for the rest of that time period. Now, how about Rasmus Dahlin? I haven't really said his name too much. He's the reason why we got to overtime and had all the fireworks at the end. Beautiful job from the D-men. Only D-men out there as well, crashing down hard. He knew that this was going to be it. Had the only opportunity they had, wide open net, beautiful feed from Reese Johnson to tie it. But Chris, we can't go without addressing the physicality and what happened at the end of that game.
Yeah, it's going to make for an interesting finish, or an interesting chapter tomorrow, as NC State and Kentucky will play again, and it's going to be a game about managing emotions.
Yeah, it definitely is. And again, you know, we saw it on the replay. A couple of punches being thrown by a couple players on Kentucky. Will be interesting to see if they're in the lineup tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, we're going to step aside here. As we mentioned, we'll talk with the goaltender Ethan Roberts as well as head coach Tim Healy on the other side.
We are back here at Invisalign Arena. I'm Grace Motto, joined by Ice Pack star of the show, Ethan Roberts. Ethan, can you walk us through some of the amazing saves you made during overtime?
It's my job to make saves, so I let up 3 goals. I don't like that, so I was like, I need to make a few saves for the guys and get this to a shootout because it's just my job. So, and they did a good job in the shootout winning it for us. So, yeah.
So coming off of Liberty, obviously we had a disappointing overtime, but you truly stood on your head and did all that you could. Now you came out with an overtime win, so I wouldn't beat yourself up too much, but what has it been like, obviously, coming to NC State, meeting some of the new players? Can you walk us through that as well?
Yeah, when I made the decision to come here, it was honestly like I wanted to be home and go to a big school for once and enjoy the hockey instead of just injury. So when I talked to Coach Healy, he made me feel super comfortable in my decision, and I come here. I love the guys. I'm having so much fun playing hockey, gonna get a good education, so it's kind of all you could ask for, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
All right, so we will be back here tomorrow night. Have any thoughts about that? Obviously, it was a very tight game.
Yeah, they had the game kind of locked until the last 5 minutes, so they're going to come back with a lot of juice, and we just got to be ready for it. We know we squeaked one out. We probably didn't deserve this one, but we found a way. Ammo, come on. But we found a way, and that's what good teams do, so it's really promising for us. But we just got to be ready and learn off our mistakes. We're so happy with the W, though.
All right, well, Nick will be interviewing Coach Healy after this.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
At Moe's, we've always been inviting, but we have a bigger story to tell. A place that welcomes you to be you. Fresh, high-quality ingredients. We got that. Go ahead, do your thing. Come on, let's get weird. We don't judge. Moe's wants you to come in with your crew and their appetites. Dine in, pick up, or order on the Mo Rewards app. Either way, don't just stroll in, roll all in to Moe's Southwest Grill.
We talk forever about the future. Worry about it, or wish it closer. We try to glimpse the places we'll go. From ocean depths to the far side of the moon. At NC State University, the future is a thing you make. With bright ideas, new tools, and a wolf pack behind you. Tell us where you're headed. We'll help you get there. NC State. Think and do.
When you look at me, you might see
a person with Parkinson's disease.
But if you look closer,
you'll see
a warrior mom,
an endurance athlete,
someone with a lot of fight.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association.
Look closer.
My spirit
is unshakable.
Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing. Because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at cisa.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
Well, I'm looking good. Thank you. Just became a real ID. What's the plan? Impromptu road trip? Actually, the plan is to fly to New York for today's product launch, and then visit the family in California and cap it off with a girls' weekend in New Orleans. You really can just do all that. Sure, I'm a real ID, so I'm good to board any domestic flight. Speaking of which, gotta fly. Nice. Enjoy. I'll be here.
Be your Real ID self today. To learn how, visit tsa.gov/realid or your local DMV.
I would never show my teeth. Never. Would never smile. And it forces you into this submission of silence because you don't think that anybody's going to take what you have to say seriously. Invisalign has changed my life forever.
Welcome back. Chris Lehman alongside head coach Tim Healy after a shootout victory over the Kentucky Wildcats. And, Coach, one thing I heard from your team, in particular from your captain, Zach Herman, coming up after the game, one thing that stuck out to me he said was it's a 60-minute game. And
actually, with us, it's like 64, 65, 63.
But to build off of that, the way your team was able to bounce back, there were periods of time, I feel like in each period, where you weren't able to get to your game, but to be able to stay in it and then finally get to your game and finish it, how did that feel?
I think there's a couple. I mean, it felt great, right? Especially scoring 2 late. And we still haven't scored a 5-on-5 goal this year, and somehow we're above 500. So there's that. You know, the reality is you have to give credit to the Kentucky coaching staff. They have a commitment to playing in a system that makes it very hard to. They don't yield. If you look at their games, they never really give up many goals. And Reese is he's a great goalie back there. So first, credit to them. They're always committed to their game plan. They always have been. They come in prepared. So it really took us a long time to find our way there and our way to it. And obviously we finally did. You know, I also want to give credit to our crowd tonight, right? They were there right to the end, right? Yeah. I think you know right now I'd have to say to the end of an ice pack game. You know, the positive is we hung with it, found a way. We still, but we still didn't play a 60-minute game tonight. I don't think anyone in that locker room, I thought last week we were committed for 60 minutes to a style of play. And we didn't do that tonight. And, you know, we kind of got away with it in the end, but, you know, shootout victory. But we need to be committed to what we had for 60 minutes like last Saturday night. And if we do that, we can beat anyone. If we don't, I'm going to need to see my cardiologist a lot more.
Well, you take a look at this game, both from the way that your team was able to come back late and win in a shootout, and then, of course, just the emotional nature of the way the game concluded. How do you manage that going into the second game tomorrow?
Well, first we got to figure out lineup. You know, our trainer was in there looking at stuff, but you know, figure out the guys that who spent all their energy and their emotion and emotional win, and who guys were ready. You know, we have a lot more depth this year than we've ever had, so that's great. And overall, I think we have to ride the wave. The guys know they got away with one, but they know they need to be better. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they have tomorrow night with. What did the old what was it, the old whack football that started the late game on ESPN that you could always go watch? So a little whack action hockey tomorrow night.
If you're watching on the West Coast, it's prime time.
It's great. Even my mom in the Central Time Zone, it's a little bit late there, but so our West Coast families, great. Everyone else, go out, have a great day, go to Duke, to Duke, watch NC State move to 4-0 in football, go home. Get some dinner, get something to eat. Maybe you order some wings from a Tribeca Cafe or a Meteos or something like that. Get on the couch and end your day with us.
That sounds like a fun way to do it.
Or come out, right?
Yeah,
come out
exactly.
too, absolutely.
Well, it should be another great game tomorrow night as we head out here for tonight. Let's take a look at the way NC State finished it up. It didn't start the way they wanted, but they were able to finish things off. So we take a look. Herman gets the bounce and is able to finish it off. Another thing, no reaction. He knew they needed another one, and he continues to put
he's
it
a leader, right? He is the leader.
And then, of course, here late, NC State finds the puck loose in front. It's Darlene and picks up the tying goal as NC State forces a shootout eventually. And finally...
Yeah, this is a great view of the gift goal here.
That's
a great goal.
And a great goal. I believe that was Labreezy with the quick release, and here is Gifford to finish.
So that was Breezy's. Oh, nice little backhand tuck. It's funny. That's the move I tell my kids to use. A little forehand, backhand, lift it. Works every time.
A great finish tonight. Hoping for another one tomorrow. NC State shootout winners over Kentucky.
Go Pack.